Let's talk about Man of Steel. Ladies and gentlemen, last night, for the first time since I bought the Blu-ray,
What's the S stand for?
I watched Man of Steel. It is only the third time in my life I've watched it.
It's not an S.
So I will say this. Putting the Blu-ray in, I'm like, gotta keep an open mind. 14 hours later, when the movie ended, I basically went, nope, I feel the same.
Yeah.
This ain't your daddy's Superman. And that's, for me at least, kind of a bad thing. And I think a lot of the faults are in the vision. I mean, and that's the core of a movie. It's like if your take on the material is flawed, or at least not what people are kind of wanting, longtime fans maybe, then it can't improve. And no amount of excellent casting, no amount of beautiful cinematography, no amount of some really amazing effects is going to fix that. So if the foundations are faulty, the rest of it's bad. And I think the script stinks. Oh, okay.
I saw it once in the theater, like a couple days after it came out.
Yeah.
I actually went and found my journal entry that I wrote. I went back and to review what my immediate thoughts were after the film. And I was
boy.
I was reading it going, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was disappointed in it. I thought when I first saw it, I thought that it started off good. I thought it was really, I still really liked the first half of the movie. What I said in my journal was like, the first half was promising, but then it really started to go off the rails. Like it became exhausting.
Exhausting is a good word. Yes.
I almost wanted to walk out of the theater, I said, Mark Waid style. Although even Mark Waid didn't walk out.
Yeah.
His girlfriend stopped him.
Even before you get to neck snap.
Yeah. Oh, long before that. So I will say this out front. The good things about this movie, I do have a refreshed view on the things about the film that I think are good.
Yeah.
All the problems I had with it initially are still there. Like, there's only a few plot points where I was like, the first time I watched it, I may have missed. And I was like, well, that didn't make any sense. Then like, oh, I see what they're going for here, but I still don't like it. That kind of thing.
Yes.
I do have, I think, a stronger appreciation now for why people do love this movie as much as they do. It comes down to a matter of opinion about who the character is to those people and like where they're placing their expectations. Because we'll get into this, but I was seeing a lot of things like, oh, there was more of this in there, but Zack Snyder decided it wasn't important, sort of thing.
You okay?
Right. Yes.
Goyer wrote the script, but Snyder really did steer this in the direction he wanted it to go.
Right.
And it wasn't all Goyer. It was largely Snyder what happened here, but we'll get into it.
I think they walk hand in hand through the problems of the thing. And, Goyer, I don't know if this was a passion project for him, but I think he's another one of those things where they just go to the guy who's done superhero movies. So whether or not he had a deep appreciation for this character, that I don't know.
Well, I was refreshing myself in the early development of this. It was Goyer's idea initially. And he brought it to Nolan. Nolan liked his idea and he didn't want to direct it.
Right. That was always the thing.
So, but they did work together on the story early on. Nolan was a little bit more involved than I thought originally. But Snyder didn't come onto the project till very much later. And there were a lot of other directors considered, including Matt Reeves. Wouldn't that have been interesting if Matt Reeves?
That would have been very interesting.
And Duncan Jones, David Bowie's son.
Interesting.
Both of them I thought might have been a better choice. But who knows?
Who knows? Again, if this was the script or the story or the take that they were going to go with, those directors might have made it better and might not have made similar choices. But I still think the story isn't good. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Mr. Goyer. And I know that you have had a long career and some good things, really great things. But this take and the way they are reshaping, there are things in this where you get the impression that their focus isn't really on Superman or even Clark. This is a movie that really wants to, in a Nolan way, with the Batman movies, where it's let's real world it. But their version of the real world, it doesn't fit a Superman story. In other words, this is a paranoid world. This is a very Marvel take on Superman. And that's not, I think, the way to go. They're like, let's focus on him being the outsider, the alien. Let's focus on him being unsure of his purpose and so forth and da-da-da. But let's also spend way too much time with ancillary characters and, you know, stretch out Krypton and stretch this thing out, and this doesn't feel like his movie. Or at least we're seeing him through other people's eyes constantly, whereas Donner was like, we're going to follow him on his journey, and he's going to have this very strong foundation of moral certainty, or at least goodness from the drop, and we'll see how it gets challenged. But here, this is literally a person just adrift until something shows up that forces him to become the world's hero instead of a wandering shirtless guy.
You know, what's funny though is that the movie, and we'll get more into this as we're going along, but this is kind of my overall feeling of it, having watched it again. The movie is trying to tell us that the character is this conflicted guy.
Yes, they're constantly telling us. Yes,
they're telling us that, but his actions don't reflect this internal conflict he's supposed to have. They're supposed to be like he goes and talks to the priest in the church later, like, I'm not sure what to do here. You're like, hey, you know what you're going to do. This supposed conflict he has, I don't know if humanity is worth the effort. It's like, you've been spending your entire life saving people at your own risk. I mean, Lois says it herself. The only way you're going to protect your identity, I think, is if you stop saving people. And I get the feeling that's not an option for you. That was like, oh, yeah, that is his character. And that is what he does. But the film still tries to tell us, oh, but he's still conflicted and he's not really sure what he wants to be.
I will also say this. When you watch this thing and you realize that they had plans to keep this going, and they do keep him going in Justice League and Batman versus Superman, and I can't speak for Batman versus Superman, but here, clearly in Justice League, he's a team member who's dead for most of the movie, then comes back, like f***ed up, and then saves the day. But he's not the focal point. So in other words, when this movie ends, I'm sitting there going, all right, Goyer, what was your next take? How are you going to take this forward? Because this movie, it seems like everything's an afterthought. The secret identity is an afterthought that this guy is coming to doing at the age of 33. Whereas everyone that grew up with him, this is the same problem I have with Smallville. Everyone that grew up with him is sitting there going like, oh yeah, the Superman guy, that's Clark. I mean, they're not thinking about, we need to establish some things. Even things like in the comics, when they redid the origins, and they've redone the origin a million times, but like Birthright, he has a purpose in being a young man traveling the world to understand other cultures, which is also an intellectual curiosity, which leads to him being a reporter and all this stuff. In other words, it all feels organic as to how all this stuff happened. He gets forced in John Byrne's origin. He gets forced into revealing himself as a superhero when he was plain closing it. But it wasn't because he just happened to be in places. He was actively seeking to help other people. And certainly, the stories of like a mysterious flying man, an angel, And then he has like, geez, I guess I'm outed thanks to Lois Lane, and now I have to wear a costume and whatever. That's Byrne's take. There have been many iterations, but this one feels so left-handed as to he would have never done anything, had a name attached to him if it weren't for these Kryptonians. The world does not even know who he is until he shows up because he has to. And you're like, okay, this just doesn't feel like the guy I know.
Well, even that, I know that's another thing that the movie is trying to tell us, but it's like, are you really trying to tell us that, okay, now he's going to be sitting around wondering whether or not he's going to do what he's already doing in the suit, when Jor-El, his father, is telling him that he needs to set a good example, just like Marlon Brando did in the first movie?
Yeah.
It's basically all this stuff was rewritten. There's so much stuff that is plucked directly from the Donner movie.
And yes, and then tweaked, because that's our thing, man. We're tweaking. And I know, of course, the religious allegories are always going to be there with Superman, and some people really choose to drill down, and this one certainly did, because the whole idea of him being 33, obviously Jesus was 33, but the whole thing here of like the missing years, that's always a big thing with like, well, where did Jesus go between this age and this age? Because then he just shows up. Mm-hmm. And in this movie with Clark, like I brought Birthright, because that did make me think of that. Obviously, when he gets the suit and he's flying around, he's like flying through a herd of like gazelles and stuff in Africa. And you're like, oh yeah. But in Birthright, he is on a purposeful exploratory mission to explore the world that he is going to, and he feels, I will end up being a protector, or at least I want to be. And in this, it just seems like he wandered. It honestly feels like he just went job to job. And that's okay. He's blending in. But this movie continues to make him like a mutant in the Marvel universe, to where he's ashamed and he's hiding. And everywhere he goes, oh, Greenhorn, oh, that guy, oh, the cute waiter guy. That was his existence. Like for like 20 to 33, he's just wandering around going like, oh, don't notice me. Please don't notice me. Oh, do I have to save people? Oh, shit. Now I have to move on. He's Bruce Banner. And I swear to God, that scene.
David Banner.
David Bruce Banner. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
That scene of him shirtless with the burned pants because he saved everybody and he has to steal clothes. When he's running up to that clothesline with the shirt off, I'm like, he looks like Lou Ferrigno on his way to the makeup tent.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it was like, God, he's incredibly sculpted, but he's got like the torn pants. And I was like going, so Incredible Hulk vibes right there.
Yeah.
And yeah, you picture him like thumbing rides. And I'm like, that is just not the backstory.
Yeah, and I liked a lot of that like the idea of the missing years with regards to Superman. That was my favorite. Some of my favorite stuff in the movie, when the movie catches up with him as an adult and he's working on the fishing boat, and then the oil rig scene happens. I loved all that, but I just never bought this thing that he always conflicted about whether or not to help people. No, he isn't. You never really see him be conflicted. It's just the story tries to tell us that that's what's happening internally. I don't think that's the performance that Henry Cavill was turning in, despite what the script says.
Exactly right. Cavill is still trying to give us the guy we know, but he's literally restricted by what they're having other people say. And the reason for Pa Kent in all the classic iterations and even up to modern day, Pa Kent's guidance, he pretty much always did say, you know, keep your powers on the DL, okay, until you're ready, until you know what your purpose is, and da. That's always it. It was never about paranoia. And the problem with this one, when they're trying to real world it, I honestly think Goyer was like going, this is what would really happen. The parent who loves him would be saying like, don't show your powers, don't save people, because the government's going to come for you. And that's very X-Files-y, and it's very Marvel too. The difference is actually very broad, because I like who they cast. Kevin Costner, sure, absolutely, a good Pa Kent choice. And there are a couple of the scene where he goes, "Can I just still be your son?" And he goes, "You are my son." That's good writing, Goyer.
Yes.
There's good in this movie. I'm sorry, I know
there really is.
There's good things all the way through it. It's just, again, built on wrong ideas in my mind, making him so. I mean, even the stuff of him, that early stuff, him in the classroom, and him having his sensory stuff kicking in, and it freaks him out. That's not a bad idea. But most of the stories where they acknowledge that he had powers young, because that always changes. Yeah. Even in Burn, he doesn't really get them till like senior year of high school, or junior year, and it's like, what's happening to me?
Yeah.
But this is like, okay, he's got him from the beginning, and they're overwhelming him and all of that. Okay. But him hearing all the thoughts, or not the thoughts, he's hearing the whispers and the people going, he's such a freak. And the idea that Clark Kent grew up an outsider freak is not really the DC take. He learned to suppress his powers, keep them down, but he wore the glasses, and he was friends. He had friends. Yeah. He was totally accepted. And Byrne did have him playing football, and then he realizes that, oh my gosh, my powers are kicking in, and that's why I keep winning, is that no one can catch me, and so forth. And Pa Kent going, yeah, maybe quit football now, because it's not about scoring touchdowns.
Right.
So all that stuff is kind of, he's this outsider nerd guy who continues to grow into an outsider dude who's called Greenhorn on a fishing boat. It's just that his anonymity is not, it's shown as fear. It's shown as literal, I have to hide, instead of it being, I have the opportunity that no one knows how different I am to help people. Instead, this literally is, unless something popped up, like we have to go save some guys on an oil rig, he's not going around saving people. He's just fishing. And then he saves people on the oil rig just because circumstances come along. And so, yeah, foundationally, that's the problem, is that I don't get the sense that had the Kryptonian villain shown up and had he not found Daddy's scout ship or, the Kryptonian scout ship,
Yeah.
we never would have had a Superman.
Yeah. We'll get to that scene, but yeah, that was one of the sore spots in the script.
Just
one of the biggest plot holes.
Well,
we'll get there.
The whole idea that also Lois Lane's story is completely, I mean, she's there when he's finding out who he is.
Mm-hmm.
All this seems like, no, that's wrong. This is not how this should be happening. Anyway, maybe we should are we going to start at the beginning and work our way through, and 2 days later we'll be finished?
Yeah.
It's a long movie. It is unnecessarily long.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, everybody.
All right. Yeah. Let's start from the beginning.
All right.
We're on Krypton.
We sure are.
We're witnessing the birth of Kal-El.
Mm-hmm.
The first natural birth in how many years did they say?
They said it's like 1,000 or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're doing an interesting mix of some Byrne stuff and classic Krypton. I do like the fact that this is quasi, even though it's again shot with Snyder's obsessive, I don't want color. I want tones of steel and metal and all that stuff. Even their costuming, and they're all wearing like armor all the time. You're like, okay, all right, buddy. But it is still like emotionally, it's very Silver Age, as in they do have normal relationships here. He and Laura are in a loving relationship. Byrne went farther by having, not only are there no natural childbirths, but there aren't married couples or that kind of thing. It's all like, you've been selected because you've got this, and you've been selected, and we will combine your DNA and it'll hatch in a, gestation pod, and that's going to be a child. But you won't be parents to it because, that kind of, he made it very cold and alien. This isn't that. So it's got the mix. It's an exotic alien world with like alien animals, and some of the like visuals of vistas. I'm like, that's cool. I love Donner's icy take, crystalline world. It's very different. This is literally trying to combine everything. But I like the idea that they are rebelling, that they want to have a natural child, and we're trying to correct what Krypton had been doing for years. Making the destruction of Krypton their own fault is also kind of new. Mm-hmm. And, every other iteration, Krypton's going to blow up, and Jor-El knows, because he's the best scientist or the smartest guy on Krypton. It's just people don't want to believe him. That's just all the others. It's like, no, we're fine. Screw that. And sometimes in the anime, you've got Brainiac lying to them going, no, the core is absolutely fine.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Did I laugh?
Yeah.
But here it is their own fault, because they have had to use up so much of their natural resources. These are all pretty cool ideas.
Yeah. That's that. Yeah.
By the way, I'm tired of that tech. Have we gotten past the tech that they loved for a while of sci-fi movies of the pins and needles things that become like 3D things? Like you get those at Spencer's Gifts where you shove your face or your hand into the thing.
Right.
Yeah, where it's like, instead of a visual screen or like a television thing, instead it's like, ooh, a 3D projection comes out of a throbbing metal thing going, hi, Jor-El, how you doing?
This is the result of 100,000 years of technological advancements, and this is where they landed.
They landed at Spencer's Gifts.
It looks cool. It looks really cool, but yeah.
It looks cool, and they're just trying to make something alien and weird.
Yeah.
But yes, Jor-El is still, they're keeping a lot. He is their number one scientist. He's trying to convince them that everyone needs to leave the planet because it doesn't have long. Let's return to our spacefaring ways, because we used to be an explorer species, and now we aren't. I thought that was a big missed opportunity later, where they where the Kryptonian villains are like, we went to all the other worlds that have been scouted and found nothing but death. I was like, come on, don't rule that out, because that's a storyline for later where you find a pocket of of
Kryptonians, right.
Kryptonians in another part of the universe.
Yeah, maybe an
Anyway.
entire planet in under a yellow sun of,
Yeah,
everybody is
maybe
just
the whole.
fully powered.
Oh, so I mean, that's me thinking like comic book writer guy.
But these are all shortcomings in almost every telling of the story. It's like, okay, the Kryptonians know that if they go to a system with a yellow star, they would have these powers, but that's boring. We'll just
Seems
stay here and
weird.
die.
Even on this basis, where they never bring that up until it's like, oh, we're going to send our son to. But it seems weird that you're sitting there going, I'm sure there's a backstory of why they decide. It's like, we sent a bunch of scouts find another world, and do you stop exploring?
Yeah, that's never really explained.
And when you found out, because this wasn't recent, when you found out that we need the resources of our own world and we're chewing up the world, that you think would kind of inspire you to start back up. We got to find another place.
Yeah, it makes
instead of saying, no, we're fine.
It's very, very convenient writerly thing. Like,
it is.
We need them to have this happen.
And Zod comes in because Jor-El is doing that talk about, hey guys, what we've been doing for a long time isn't working, and da-da-da. And while he's having that talk, Zod just walks in and full on does a coup. Military coup. Just goes, we're shutting down the council. You try to stop us. Zap, zap. And he's fighting not for the same thing, not to colonize other worlds, but he does say, hey, Jor-El, we're buddies, man, and we got to take this place over and change things. And Jor-El's like going, not the way you're doing it. And I think we need to go other places and do this stuff.
Well, and this is where the issue of the Codex comes in. That's really
Codex,
what they're supposed to be in conflict about.
Yeah, I don't like this. This is dumb.
It is dumb. But yeah, Zod wants to take the Codex and he wants to prune the bloodlines from the Codex that he doesn't like.
Yeah, he's being very fascist dictator.
Jor-El doesn't want to do that. Obviously, Jor-El wants to keep everything. Well, he wants to reform Krypton, obviously, but he's not going to just arbitrarily remove people he doesn't like from the system.
Yes, he's like, we can make it a better planet by picking the right kind of people to be born. And he's like, yeah, and who's going to choose that? That's you?
Yeah.
That's not the way I roll, buddy. And he's like, well, that's a shame. We were such good friends.
Right.
Who could be friends with that guy? You never see him in a relaxed kind of like, hey, man, how you doing?
They implied friendship that they do mention it, but it's like, and there's a brief moment later in the movie where you see a little bit of sentiment from Zod about Jor-El,
where he goes, yes, there's not a single day that I don't wake up regretting that I had to kill your father.
But you don't really, maybe if they wanted to spend this much time in Krypton, it would have been kind of cool to at least have one scene of them like shaking hands before all this stuff happens. And then Jor-El's like, oh my God, what are you doing, Zod? Come on, man.
And when you say spending this much time on Krypton, I don't mind the idea of them expanding the origin a little bit. I don't mind the idea of them making Jor-El a man of action. I thought that's great. It's something that you could assume is there in even like Silver Age, that Jor-El was not a nerdy scientist. He's drawn exactly like Superman anyway, walking around. But this, having him fight, having him like do a chase scene, but it does go on too long because Snyder's just about pump it up, man, pump it up.
Yeah.
So it is, Jor-El on the run and I got to get here, and then he's punching people and zapping and whatever. And Laura's great. I like the way she's cast, and she's. I do like always the correction over time of Laura being his equal, because yes, you go Golden Age and Silver Age, she's very much the, oh, my dear husband, oh, sending away our child. And you're like, I like it if they're both brilliant scientists. I like it where it's like, we have come to this decision, instead of Jor-El going, oh, my fragile wife, let's send our kid into the stars.
Yeah.
But anyway, she's good.
I do like that she winds up being the person to push the button to launch.
I do and I don't. This is just me sitting there going like, oh, because to me there's iconography and you can reinterpret it. We've never had, like, other than the serial, we haven't had like a rocket ship. We've had we had the weird space spiny thing that, from Donner, and this looks like a satellite, some sort of like lumpy dildo. Sorry, everyone, that I just said the word lumpy.
Well,
dildo.
We'll get to the dildos. We're not to that scene yet.
But the whole thing of, I've always liked the idea of them seeing the end of their world together and sending him away together.
That's true.
It's a
Yeah.
powerful image of
Sure.
father and mother having to send their child away. So having him heroically die, he does die heroically. Zod takes him out, and yet there still seems to be like days or a week pass before the world actually does get destroyed. I mean, it's still the same story. It still works, but I was kind of like, yeah, man, I always I felt that loss. I was like, why did Zod have
Yeah.
to kill him? Is it just so you can do the main villain creates the hero by? I mean, that's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
having Joker kill the Waynes.
This is where the script really starts showing its weaknesses doing the writing. Like, and this is not a huge complaint. I mean, there are a lot of movies that have weaknesses and character motivations or
Sure.
the actions that they take. But Zod knows, like Jor-El does, that he's aware of what Jor-El's been saying, that the planet's probably going to blow up soon. And the whole point is, let's get the codex and go start over on another planet. But instead of doing that, he's like going around killing people and blowing shit up. Meanwhile, Jor-El goes straight to the codex and grabs it before he can get it.
Which apparently is pretty easy to get to. You just got to swim up through a thing and then you
swim
just
in
grab
there
it.
and be fine. But all Zod had to do was go in there and steal the codex and leave. He didn't have to do all the Sturm and Drang of killing people and making a big pronouncement.
That's very true. If that was his goal, he has an entire army at his back and probably other followers who are civilians.
Tactically, very stupid.
You never know if he had his own ships ready. I mean, because literally they do get caught, and they are. I don't like this take on the Phantom Zone. It's kind of dumb. They just get sealed up, put in a ship, and then the ship is put in a black hole, apparently, and that's what they're calling the Phantom Zone.
They get sealed up in penis-shaped ships.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
Each of them in their own little penis-shaped sarcophagus.
Yeah, which you can get as part of their action figure set.
And then those get fired up into the ship, and then the ship moves into this. It's really fussy. It's way more complicated than it needs to be.
I like the dimensional version of the Phantom Zone, which literally goes back to the 50s. I was like, I think that's turning people essentially into ghosts in a limbo where they can't escape from that's terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, Zod and his people are just being forced to take a long nap. I mean, it might be for literally billions of years, whatever, your sentence is terrible, but you're not experiencing. You're just asleep. The idea of the Phantom Zone is you're still aware, but you can't do anything. And that's horrifying. Yeah. So I think that rethinking the Phantom Zone is unnecessary, but they did. The whole reason was, I think, that they decided the destruction of Krypton would also break open their imprisonment. So they have spent 33 years wandering the universe looking for surviving Kryptonians.
Well, there's a little bit of a threat. This is one of the things I think that Goyer borrowed from the original Donner, or Mankiewicz's draft of this. We don't see this in the theatrical cut of Donner's Superman because they cut this one part. The original idea was that the explosion of Krypton knocks the Phantom Zone off its original course, or whatever that course was going to be. And that's where Supergirl got this idea of the album cover, the crystal album cover thing, the two-dimensional thing was actually just a transportation device to get to the Phantom Zone.
I kind of thought that was
so instead they're left tumbling in the same direction that Kal-El is traveling, and eventually they wind up in the solar system.
And then, depending on which version you watch, they're shattered apart by the explosion of that missile in space.
Yeah,
and so they literally are then freed right outside of where the son of a jailer is. But this has them just tracking, and they would have not found Earth had it not been for him going into the. I mean, as plot mechanics go, Goyer's connecting dots, and you're like, okay, Cal needs to find. He doesn't get a fortress; he finds a Kryptonian scout ship in the Arctic, and him turning it on is what finally tells the Kryptonian villains, oh,
that's where
there's Cal. Yeah, there he is.
I saw somebody else mentioning the dildo-shaped ships that they get sealed in and fired off.
Yeah.
And I really don't... Could that not... Did nobody say, hey, these look like dildos, dude? Why?
Well, I mean, there's phallic imagery in Donner, too. Those crystals, man, they're all just dicks.
I don't really like, I mean, just overall, I liked, I mean, most of the Krypton stuff I thought was fine, but yeah, the art direction and the style, everything, that choice in particular really confuses me.
Yeah, I didn't like their scarab bugs shaped ships
Yeah, right.
because they're a little too bug like, and I'm like, and then yes, Cal's rocket is a lumpy dildo, and you're like, guys, I know you're
Yeah.
trying to be alien and
It
shit.
really is the Phantom Zone sarcophaguses though are the most peculiar. Like, I just imagine the art director going, "Oh, oops, did I make it look like a dildo again? My bad." Like, why?
I actually, I had them being more squared off, but Zack said no. And then he said, put veins on them. And I was like, oh no.
It's like,
Sorry, everybody. This got real blue, but that's blame it on the art director. All right. So Krypton is blowing up. We do get a very, I mean, the guy can shoot. This guy is a good filmmaker. I mean, that's what I'll say. Imagery. Because when Laura is standing there as the world's blowing up and her helpful robot is like saying, Lady Laura, you should get to the, and she's like, nah, it's all done. And that's pretty, heart breaking. And then the explosion of Krypton looks great. Again, sound in space. Who knew?
yeah, right. Well, yeah,
you're never going to see a planet blow up in a movie where it doesn't make a
noise. Yeah, that line when she says, "Oh, this is the end," whatever. It did remind me of the animated series. The line that was given to her father in the series, like, another earthquake starting, and some people say, "Oh, another one." He goes, "No, the last one."
The last one.
So, it kind of reminded me of that.
It is. That's. I mean, I don't mind that we spent more time on Krypton. I think the casting's great. Who knew that you could take Zeus and Wilson Fisk's wife and have them hook up, and you'd end up with Henry Cavill?
So I was trying to piece where I recognized her from. But yeah,
she's Vanessa Fisk from Daredevil, and I thought she was awesome. All this is great, and when we get to casting, with one exception, I think it's really well cast across the board. There's one standout, and I bet you can guess which one it will be. Not a bad actor, but bad choice for character. Lois. It always comes to Lois.
Yeah.
I love Amy Adams. Don't get me wrong.
Better than Kate Bosworth.
Yes. Infinitely better. Just
and her character is written better than Kate Bosworth was.
It is, but still underserved. It's weird that this is a movie. This is a Superman movie where you feel that Superman and Lois are pretty underserved as far as screen time, motivation. If you had a scene just like the rooftop scene, if you had something like that, and the scene of them in the room where he turned himself in, when we get to that interview, that doesn't have the same weight or romance or emotional connection that Margot Kidder and Christopher Reeve did talking about pink underwear.
No.
Because that whole stuff about, well, on our Earth, that's pretty much an S. I mean, there's just nothing there. This means hope.
Yeah, that's one thing. That is one of the things this movie lacks, is that they kind of shoehorned the romance into it. It's like, obviously you can see they're attracted to each other,
and in the worst place too, which we're not there.
Yes,
that
I know.
Scene I got so much problems with.
The first movie had that brilliant interview, which is basically it turns into a date.
But it's both a good introduction to him, his sincerity, the whole thing about I never lie. I mean, it's not all about flirty. He is saying, tell the world I'm your friend and I'm trustworthy.
It's a moment for those characters to really, the chemistry to really boil. But yeah, as you say, there is some really brilliant writing there as far as getting some exposition out there, that in the best possible way.
Getting some exposition out, but also showing the start of something that for most people is iconic, and that's their relationship.
Yeah.
And we don't get that here.
Mm-mm.
There's not a scene in this movie, even though they are trying in dialogue to convince you that there's a bond forming, that you just don't see it. It's like, okay, all right. She tracked him down. He saved her life. They don't really have much time to talk together. And then she's showing up at his mom's house, and there's a hand holding thing briefly. And I'm just like, I'm just not getting it. It just doesn't feel
right.
Also, it's all scrunched into like, this is all happening within like a week.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It's like the Kryptonian villains show up. All right, still not there. All right.
We're not there.
So Krypton's gone. Sorry, everybody. Now we're on a boat. We're on a boat. Take a look at me now because I'm on the motherfucking boat.
That we now begins the nonlinear storytelling.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of bouncing back and forth and back and
forth. Which in principle, I have no problem with.
Nope.
I think that kind of storytelling is cool, especially when it's done well. And that was one of the things I was reminded of watching this again, that the framing is, okay, we start off with the preface in Krypton, just like the original movie.
Yep.
And we catch up with Kal-El or Clark as an adult.
Yep.
And then from there forward, the story picks up with him, fishing boat to the end of the movie. But then we get these scenes peppered in that are flashing back to his childhood.
We get flashbacks to his childhood and so forth.
They're things that he's remembering. They're not just kind of thrown in willy-nilly.
Right.
So that framework, I was like, okay, cool. That framework that David Goyer came up with, I have no problem with any of that.
I mean, if it's done well, I never mind bouncing around a time frame as long as I understand why and as long as I understand who I'm looking at. And they're right. Keeping the same actors. Sure. Clark is a bearded, tall, extremely cut dude who everyone still is making fun of because I guess maybe it's his first time on a fishing boat. It's Greenhorn. They're making fun of him.
What the hell is your problem?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
And this is where I feel
goes, burn.
Yeah, right. This is an example of David Goyer trying to, and Snyder, trying to force this. Oh, look, he's an awkward guy who doesn't know, he's not sure of himself. It's like, I get it in the dialogue that from the other people around him, but I'm not really seeing it in his character at all, that he's unsure of himself.
I guess, and they are showing him being extremely passive, which other than going out and helping people, and that's not necessarily, again, a bad take. Clark learns to become a cartoony version of himself as a form of disguise, but at this point, he doesn't need that. At this point, no one knows him from anything. No one even knows there's a Superman. So you go, oh, no, he's just intrinsically awkward in this version. He's just an awkward dude.
Right. He doesn't talk much either.
The whole thing is they get a distress call from an oil rig. They need to go pick up some people if they can help. So they go, this fishing boat, they get there. Oil rig's in bad shape. They get some people out and they're like, there's other people up there. Like, yeah, just let them go. There's no way we can get to them. The fire's too bad.
Yeah, and this is where we get if this was the Donner version of this, where the ship captain turns around and he's gone. That's where we would have gotten the dun 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 dun. The music coming in as we see him moving.
What do you think about the score, by the way? What do you think about the score?
Oh, I love it. I think what's his name?
I don't know.
I got the Wikipedia open.
I think it's okay, but it certainly doesn't have anything triumphant.
Right. Yeah, Hans Zimmer. Yeah, I like
Hans Zimmer.
I like parts of it. Yeah, it's not all great, but the main building theme that they have, especially when he first flies.
You don't necessarily need a fanfare, but I do think that it could have used something to lift us in places.
Sure. But this is where this is why one of the reasons why I feel like the character is at odds with the script.
Yeah.
Because even the script, it's like the movie doesn't know who the character really is. I think because Superman, Clark reacts as he always would. He sees people are in trouble. He immediately goes into action.
There's a little bit where it is like, because the way he appears, and by the way, this is not how fire works. He walks through fire, opens this door. These guys are trapped, right? But their first view of this superhuman is he's wreathed in flames. Here's the thing. If flame has nothing to burn, then it doesn't hang on you.
Sure.
It just, he would walk through fire, but there wouldn't be flame. But he looks like the Human Torch here. And he opens the door and they are seeing God essentially. And he's like, are you guys okay?
Yeah. Well, you could, I get it. You could argue that maybe he had walked, maybe gotten sprayed with oil or something. Okay, the oil is burning off.
Okay.
So,
all right.
I don't know.
No, you're right.
Yeah,
I think
cool.
that in Snyder's case, he will always go for whatever is coolest visual.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what people have. That's what the new phrases I've heard in critiques of this movie recently is aura farming. Aura
farming.
That was like that's Zack Snyder's weakness as a filmmaker, is that he goes for cool looks instead of good stories.
Right. John loves to quote, and I think it is Michael Bay, but it might not be Michael Bay. But because I can't turn off logic brain. It's like I want a cool moment, but if something distracts, like for instance in Superman 3, is that where he saves the cosmonauts, or is that 4? It's 4.
That's 4, yeah.
And, it's cool. I love the idea of that. But the second he's talking in the vacuum of space, I'm like, I can't turn off logic.
And the cosmonauts are good looking. I'm going, how's he talking in space?
And we can hear you somehow. But yeah, it bugs me. The quote was, if the choice is between cool or real, cool every time.
Right.
And for John, that's his way of like watching. And it's his soft spot. He loves the action stuff, all the big blow 'em ups, the Mission Impossibles. And when I go, well, that couldn't work. It's like that was neat. But he goes, no, it doesn't matter. It's cool. I'm like, oh, okay.
Right.
All right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I know.
So yes, he shows up. It is some awesome stuff. It is all about.
I love the whole sequence.
I do, and again, it's very mythological. Here, he does not have the suit. It is a bearded, shirtless guy. It's Hercules. It's that kind of stuff, and he's lifting and he saves dudes, and then the place blows up. He is able to save everybody, and they were trying to save him too, but he
runs off to save. Yeah,
but he falls into the water and looks like he's just died. He's drifting down.
He's taking a moment.
Then he has a nice flashback.
That's where we get our first flashback, and I do kind of like that scene that you think. And this is one of the things I wish. That's why I say I wish we had more of this. If there was maybe less Krypton and more of this period of him.
Like formative years.
Yeah. Like maybe 1 or 2 other scenes where he's actually saving people.
Yeah.
And having to move on right after, he leaves. And because you can see in the moment, he's like, he just expended a great amount of energy saving these people. So he's a little tired, but he's taking a moment in the water because he's like, once again, I have to move on. And the life I had in this fishing boat is over. And I have to go rebuild again.
Yeah. But I do like the idea of him kind of like, that is something I would take advantage of if I were Superman. The fact that, man, I'm cool. I don't have to breathe here and I can just drift down. I'm kind of jealous of him. It seems like that's cool. And when he wakes up underwater, it's like, oh yeah, there's a whale. How you doing there, buddy?
Yeah, it's very nice. That whole opening scene
calm and peaceful.
I love that whole sequence.
Yeah, but he flashes back to a traumatic experience in his school days. They do kind of go chronologically with the flashbacks because they realize we can't really bounce around too much. So anytime there's a flashback, it starts with the earliest. And this case, he's like, I don't know, 3rd grade. And his senses are going crazy. The next time he'll be like junior high. And that's the bus saving.
Right.
And Pete Ross, who gets a raw deal in this.
Yeah. I like the mechanic they had. I mean, the role that Pete Ross served in this film, but we'll get to that. But it's just, he was underserved.
Yeah. He does have an arc. He has an arc,
but he has very little dialogue, unfortunately.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, so his senses start overwhelming him in that classroom.
He's seeing through his teacher. He's hearing things miles away. He freaks out, runs into a school closet, and I'm going to call your mom because you won't come out. And mom shows up and outside the door. Oh, he also uses his heat vision to burn the doorknob.
There's a little bit of a bright burn moment there.
Yeah, it's like, and the teacher goes, ouch.
I didn't like that. I didn't like that bit.
That's a dick move.
This is another nitpicky thing, but one of the scenes I thought, one of the things about the scene I thought was awkward is that the teacher follows him out and tries to get him out of the closet, but the entire classroom follows her.
I know.
Like, what kind of teacher is this? Anybody who's actually been to school in America knows that's not how the classrooms work.
Yeah, it'd be stay here. I'm going after Clark.
Yeah, it would be stay where you are. Stay, be quiet. I'll be back in a second.
When I come back, you all need to be in your desks.
And she would have called, the superintendent or the vice principal or something to come help her get her.
But we need them there so they can all be whispering terrible things about Clark.
So that part was kind of forced. But I do like when Ma Kent shows up and talks him down, like, the world's too big, Mom, but make it small. I do kind of like that moment where she kind of, and I think the script is intimating that this is a conversation they've already had. She's been training him to try to relax. Like, this isn't the first time this has happened to him.
I think the implication here, and here's me as Mr. Source Material going, if you want him to have had powers as a baby, like Donner did and Silver Age did, maybe not obviously his full powers, but he's stronger and If you want a super baby, that's fine. But if you want to go burn and say that slowly over years, he was getting stronger and faster, and by the time, puberty and so forth, when he's a teenager, Pa Kent's like, you need to, pull back, think about this and da. I like either of those. It's fine. So having Mom and Pa Kent aware here, and probably have been like going, wow, you are different. I think it's weird though that wouldn't you kind of the second the kid's doing that and is smart enough, old enough, because they hold off on we found you in a alien dildo. Maybe that conversation would have happened earlier, but it doesn't matter. Here, basically, it's like, I do like it. She's talking him down. Let's do this like we've talked about, just shrink it, focus on what's in front of you, and that helps him, and he comes out, hugs his mom while kids are giggling at him. I mean, the idea of Clark being ostracized, it's just Peter Parker is the dweeb who gets powers, and people suddenly realize he's actually been pretty cool all along. It's just that he was so tweedy and nerdy. Clark was never really, in the original intent, supposed to have been different from anybody until he put on that suit. And that was part of the thing, is that he knew, his parents knew, but he still had a relatively normal best friends, girlfriend. He had the whole thing, the normal experience.
And in some respects, it's not too dissimilar from Donner's take, that we don't really see, and in the Donner film, we don't really see that he has any friends. We see that Lana likes him, but other than that, he's just getting picked on.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's not too dissimilar.
And they don't give us a Pete. And
there's no Pete Ross, at all.
Well, here in this universe, we have a Pete Ross who calls him Squeeze. Is that what it is?
So he's a bully at first.
He's a bully at first.
And then it's implied, not really shown, that he
not necessarily friends, but
he offers a hand to help him get up after the bullies had pushed him around. But there's no dialogue between them after the bus save, unfortunately.
No, you're like, is that out of fear?
And it would have been really cool if there was some dialogue for Pete later,
There's a thing here. When I say that the world is, they're trying to real world it too much, they're focusing on paranoia and fear as opposed to wonder. I mean, I know that sounds really cheesy, but the point is that scene later, after the saving of the bus, where it's Pete and his mom, and Pete has basically told her the truth of what he saw. And so the mom is like, Clark's been seen doing other, crazy and powerful things. And they're like, oh, it's exaggeration. Kids tend to exaggerate. Mom and Pa are covering for Clark. But you're thinking, oh, this woman's like, there's something amazing here. No. Later on, like after she's gone, Pa Kent's like going, yeah, people are afraid of you. It's like, people have seen you doing some crazy things and they're afraid of you. And it's just like, no, man, just wrong take. And so, you're going to have to hide. And it's just, ugh.
Like for me and a lot of our people who have problems with this movie, that is the scene where it really started to lose me. Where he says, maybe, what do you think? Just let them die? Maybe.
Oh,
Jonathan. No.
I mean, that is them again. They're like, hey, that's an honest, real world response where it's complicated. I think that the strong moral center that is Pa Kent would never say that.
Right.
And also the sacrifice of him later is also, that's bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
Also ignores a lot of things about his powers.
Yeah, it does.
He's got super speed where no one even sees him.
That is one of the biggest problems.
Plus, I do love later, I'm jumping ahead, but later when he shows up to the farmhouse after it's been kind of trashed, and he goes, Mom? I'm like, from 3 miles out, he could have seen with his telescopic X-ray vision that she's okay. Right. And she's like, oh, I'm fine. I'm like,
well, he does hear from a distance that she's in trouble,
right. But he shows up, he's literally outside the door. Are you okay?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's just dumb.
Okay. So we have that flashback, and then I think it's him working in the diner next. Is that right?
Well, first he comes out of the water and does his shirtless thing, steals clothes.
Yeah.
In the Donner cut, he would have left some money behind.
Yeah, I know, right?
He would have pinned like a 20 or something to the clothesline. But yeah, so he steals clothes, and then he ends up, I guess he's been doing a lot of stuff up north. This all feels like New England. And I'm like, hey man, why isn't he hanging out with Arthur Curry? Because this is that same universe. And Superman Clark's backstory is very similar to the one they gave Aquaman, which is like
That's
hanging
true.
out in like coastal towns
Yeah,
and
it's fishing
fishing and
towns and
stuff.
shit. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, he's working in a diner, and I'm sorry, he's cut like a god. He's extremely handsome. He's shaved the beard now. And I'm just amazed that no one, I mean, they do have the waitress call him like sweetie. It's like, oh, but everyone's going to be looking at that guy.
Yeah.
You just don't ignore that dude.
It's another one of those things where it's like he's supposed to be like an outcast and kind of awkward.
And he's the most handsome man.
It just doesn't track from the way
Nope,
he's
it really
the way he
doesn't.
looks.
Mm-mm.
But that scene opens with him overhearing a conversation of some army guys, some military guys who are there talking about this thing that they're investigating.
Yes.
They're calling it an anomalous object.
And so apparently this is the only reason why he knew about this Kryptonian scout ship.
Yes.
How did he know? Like that's a missing thread from them. Maybe there was more of this in the original script, but had he been looking for this the whole time? Is that why he was up in that part of the country?
That is a good question.
Because if that was part of Jor-El's plan, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like, well, maybe he'll find the scout ship eventually.
Yeah.
Because Jor-El clearly went through a lot of trouble to upload his consciousness into this little thing. How is he going to use it if he didn't find the scout ship? Apparently, it didn't work on the ship he came in on.
No.
Like, okay.
I did think it was wrong the way they said "F you" and the ship you came in on. I was like, you don't need to do that.
This is one thing where Goyer was borrowing a lot of stuff from the Donner Mankiewicz story, the original film.
And he was borrowing a lot from various comic books.
Yeah. My point is that I think they borrowed so much. It's like, this is one story device that they didn't borrow, that I don't know why they just didn't have. He's got the little thumb drive thing with the Superman S on it.
Right.
Let that thing call him to the scout ship.
Yeah.
That would make a lot of sense if it was like a little homing beacon thing.
And even if we, the audience, aren't aware of it, he could be like, you can't tell, but I'm seeing a signal. I mean, he has these senses. It could be like, this is telling me to go somewhere. I've got to follow it.
Right. And
he doesn't know he can fly at this point. Literally flying becomes like we get a training montage.
Right. It's like a Greatest American Hero scene.
Yeah, so that, I guess, is implied. It actually didn't occur to me watching it because I was already kind of like, oh, man, okay, whatever.
Yeah. They also throw in a little bit of Superman 2 into the scene.
Very much so, because there are trucker idiots that are hitting on the very cute young waitress, and he steps in like, hey, guys, leave her alone. And they're like, what are you going to do about it? One guy hits him and is like, ow.
He tries to push him and gets knocked back like he ran into a wall.
Yeah.
I do like that moment, you know.
Yep. And then the trucker leaves, I guess, at closing time, and somehow, incredibly quietly.
Yeah, he's completely destroyed.
And with no witnesses, Clark has impaled the man's 18-wheeler on like telephone poles. And it's cool to look at. Again, it's cool. And then you go, well, is that commiserate with the crime? I mean, I'm sure he does like the waitress and she doesn't deserve to be sexually harassed, but holy crap, man.
Yeah.
That was all of my money. That's how I make money. And then that guy just starves to death.
This is one of the only laughs in the whole film, too, is when he comes out and sees what happens to his truck. There's not a whole lot of humor in this movie, which is one of its weak spots, I think.
Yep.
I think that now we catch up with Lois, right? Because she's going to investigate this thing that they're looking at.
She is out in the Arctic, and she's with the military, but she's there as a civilian reporter, not advisor, but observer. By the way, I'll say this feels very Snyder again, and kind of Michael Bay. This movie is serving what he thinks is awesome. So I think this is a kind of porn for him. There's literally a lot of power porn, because he even says it in interviews. To him, the cool thing about superheroes, it's not what motivates them or what they're trying to do. It's those cool freaking powers.
Yeah.
So this movie, more than any of the others, focuses so much on punching and flying and beaming and doing all that. And Gunn certainly gives us a lot of that too. But here it really is, he's trying to awe us with just like the power. And it's also later in the movie, clearly it's destruction porn, which is not where I would have gone.
No, it's one of the biggest problems with the movie.
Yeah, we get so much of this movie, which is supposed to be about this character, and this is our introduction to him in this universe. But so much time is given over to military people. You know, there's Professor Emil Hamilton. I'm very happy he's there, and of course, played by the great Richard Schiff. So no complaints.
Yeah, his character's great.
Yeah, his character's great. But again, we spend so much time with them, and they're not people who are going to be core to the story. And yet we get hardly any time with Daily Planet. And again, you've cast Lawrence Fishburne as Perry White. I got no problem with. He's very different from Wendell Pierce, but I love both those guys. And they're both kind of different from Frank Langella. We've had a lot of different Perrys. We just aren't, his focus is not where it should be at any point in this movie.
I don't want to show Superman saving people. It's boring.
He really doesn't.
You know?
It doesn't. He just wants to show him punching the shit out of people.
It's not like it wasn't in the script, because he does save people. He just does it a couple times, and Zack's like, that's enough. Let's move on. Saving people is boring.
Maybe if he's defending people from the Kryptonian villains, maybe he should move the battle outside of Main Street, Smallville. Oh, he can't do that. Oh, yeah, there's super speed and flying. Oh, yeah, okay.
Anyway, yeah. Okay, so the ship, the military base.
Yeah. And she is basically, and we get this in little mentions. It's not like there's a later scene with her and Perry where he's like going, you're wasting your time on the story trying to tie all these mysterious events together. Maybe we could have had that earlier, because we're not quite sure why she's there other than they found something in the Arctic. It is just so happenstance that he happens to find his way to the Kryptonian scout ship at the same time the military is aware of it.
She happens to notice him,
and
where
she's
he is.
there.
Yeah.
And love Amy Adams. Very good. They give her some good stuff here. She's just not my Lois Lane. And they didn't even dye her hair dark.
I know that was like sort of like a who cares sort of thing.
I think they do who cares a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's iconography. I always bring it up. It's not about my preference for hair color. It's just iconography.
It is. Yeah, I know. It's like, you're not going to make a blonde Superman.
Yeah. If Batman ends up being blonde, then I'm going to be like, no. And most people would.
There's a lot of things about the story where I'm like, this isn't my preferred, obviously not my preferred Superman origin story. But as an Elseworlds thing, a lot of the story elements I think are kind of nice. And I do like this whole, I mean, it is the coincidence of her being there at the same time as him being there or whatever. And him finding about this from overhearing a conversation is weird. But when she sees him and she goes, oh, this is interesting. And she follows him, risks her life to try to trace his path, the same path he's taking. And then she discovers this hole that he's bore into the ice with his heat vision. I do like that. And then when he gets to the other side of that, we see him emerging from the hole, and he goes, he kind of does like this for a second, because he's been nonstop heat vision for however long. So this whole thing is kind of cool.
That's an interesting take on heat vision. Like, I only do that when I have to. She gets attacked by security robots.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
This is like a running thing of the droids coming up and going, oh, I'm going to fuck you up. I'm going to fuck you up. I'm going to fuck you up. And she apparently, the last straw in her case was using the flash on her camera. And she's like, and the robot's like, all right, that's it. That's it. I'm taking you down.
I like it's like unknown organism in the ship. But unless it shoots out a very bright light for half a second, we don't attack. No, we're attacking.
It even does that to Clark when he shows up. You would think maybe it could detect his DNA as Kryptonian or something. Think. But it's about to, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. And he pushes the thing in all the way. And then it goes, oh, okay. All right. Never mind.
It goes, oh, okay. You're cool.
Jor-El doesn't just show up and say hi like he does with Lois later in the movie. He just goes, and he keeps like doing this coy thing, like running down.
Yeah, he does the classic ghost thing of kind of like, I'm here, but I'm not saying anything, and now I'm going over here. Are you going to follow me?
Yeah.
Don't worry, listeners. I was still here. I just acted like I was going somewhere, and I know you guys were afraid.
I don't really have a problem with any of that. It's just kind of funny.
No,
some of the stuff is easy to poke fun at. He uses his heat vision to cauterize her wound, which is kind of cool. And then I think it cuts to then the ship's taking off, and from the perspective of the army base, and they're going, oh, crap. And then he lands it somewhere else in the Arctic. He dumps Lois in the middle of nowhere. It's interesting, the whole thing of her after that using her, reporter and detective skills to try to track him down.
Yes.
That's kind of, I think that's kind of cool. It is very comic booky, that path that she follows.
Yeah, absolutely. It's similar again to the Burn thing where she had been aware of these special things, but that's not her story. He happens to save her at a prime moment, and then she's connecting the dots and going,
Sure.
"Oh, you're that guy."
Well, what is it you don't like about
It's
her?
too happenstancy. It's too coinkadinkle. And I would, as a writer, that it's like this is how they meet, is by chance in the Arctic. He's on his own quest. She just happens to be tagging along with the military.
Mhm.
And I'm like going, that's just too convenient.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. It's like, it is beyond the coinkydinky stuff. I kind of like the mechanics of her following him into the ship.
Also, if you had done short scenes, which they do later with her showing up and talking to Pete Ross and going to the Kent farm, they show her following the trail, but that's after this. It would have been pretty cool if we had seen her like talking to some of the oil rig guys before this. So we actually see this as a thread instead of like Lois and Clark have to meet eventually, and it's going to be at a Kryptonian scout ship. Okay.
Right.
So I'm not necessarily a fan. Doing the Superman Lois dynamic, their first meeting's important. This meeting where he's not even Superman, this meeting where they're in the Arctic meeting on a Kryptonian scout ship, it just doesn't have the hero vibe of, it doesn't have to be, oh my God, a helicopter's going down and he saves her. Is you got me? Who's got you? But you need something. This really is, he's still this mysterious nobody. But again, it doesn't have anything romantic. It does feel like if it had been a rando army person who had, gotten into the scout ship, it would have been the same thing. Like, patched you up. You should go now. So again, they do a terrible job of trying to build these people as a fated to be romantic couple. There's no kind of like, she does look at him like, wow, you're an attractive alien, man. Even though she doesn't know he's an alien at this point. I think she's figuring it out because she's on an alien ship. She's smart. Yeah, no, it just doesn't carry any weight.
Yeah, it's not in the story at all.
No.
They try to trick you into thinking it is, but it's really not.
Yeah.
I will say that Clark has a really good bedside manner in the scene where he cauterizes her wound. He's talking just like an EMP.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got the same
where
demeanor.
You from?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you got a niece who's got a
EMT,
wedding coming up? That's cool.
EMP is a electromagnetic pulse.
Yeah.
EMT.
He has a good bedside manner like any EMT.
Emergency medical technician, not emergency medical pulse. That's
right. There you go.
Emergency medical person. There you go.
Oh, okay, you did that. Way to cover your mistakes. He's just looking around going, this is cool. And then his dad pops up. Hey, man, what's up? I mean, I'm always a sucker for Jor-El talking to Clark from beyond and saying stuff like, to see you as a grown man, it's great. Even though I'm not him, I'm the consciousnness of your dad. So this is kind of great. And then him going like, you're my father. And he's like, yeah. And my name is Jor-El and your name is Kal-El.
Yeah.
I mean, all that stuff is like, ooh, goosebumpy. I love that stuff.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. So that's my name?
Like, that's my name? Yeah, it's great.
It's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, you want Jor-El's AI to go in this fortress of being alone, in this kind of clubhouse of one. Oh, by the way, suits. There's some suits in here you might like.
which begs the question again, is the just the completely random way by which Clark happens across the scout ship. The scout ship also just happens to have the House of L suit in it with special colors that nobody else wore on.
I know, because color is forbidden.
It's kind of similar to the original movie where everybody's wearing these gray, glowing white suits. But Laura puts in these baby blankets that have multiple colors on them.
Yeah.
And apparently that has something to do with why he's wearing his baby blankets as a suit.
Sort of.
They never explain that.
They don't, and I'm totally fine with it. But
you don't have to. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't. and let's be charitable to where, let's just say there was a line of dialogue they cut where it's like, now that you're here, the ship has made these suits, with the House of Velcro.
And that's an easy leap to make.
Yeah,
even
that's
though
an easy leap. Otherwise, it is like, okay, well, maybe if Jor-El didn't build the ship, maybe it's still somehow connected to the House of El. But why would that be the one that ends up on Earth? Yeah, it is. It's messy and dumb, but not something. Until you brought it up, something I hadn't even thought of. I was like, yeah, come on.
It's just a funny divergence from the other stuff that they borrowed directly from Donner's film. It's like, because that's one of the beautiful things about that story is the way the crystal leads him.
Oh, it is.
And it's a beautiful example of showing, not telling. They just show it, guiding him to the exact spot where he feels he needs to plant it.
And that's completely original to that version of the story.
And I'm not gonna drive this point any more further into it.
Don't. We have a lot of movie to cover. It does
really strike me as funny is that they've got all the elements. You've got the ship up in the Arctic, which is where he's headed eventually, and you've got this little thumb drive, which is sort of like this movie's version of the Green Crystal.
And it doesn't call him.
Just like you want to do it. Just do it.
What if he had left it at home? What if he got all the way to the Arctic? He's like, oh, I had now that I see this, I bet what would fit in there? Oh, where did I leave that?
And maybe it wasn't the script. Maybe that little thing was guiding him northward, and that's just not part of the narrative in the movie.
Yeah, but I mean, that's not a show don't tell. That's a don't show don't tell, where it is something where you're like having to do the work, like fill in the gaps, which is not good storytelling. But anyway,
that's another an old Rush song, like don't show or tell.
Don't show or tell. Good luck figuring anything out. But that is the case here, and it is annoying.
Obviously, Jor-El knew that the scout ship was there because they kind of gloss over it when they're saying, well, did you find a planet? Yep, found this one. Okay, cool, that'll work. He doesn't say, oh, good, that's one of the ones that we send a scout ship to. That's going to be instrumental later. That would have been great. There should have been a line of dialogue. I'm joking, but like for Jor-El to say, it's a good thing you found the ship too, because I didn't think about that part at all. Whew. That was a close one.
The fact that you were talking right now, that was a long shot. Really happy that worked out.
Yeah.
Also, glad you ended up on this scouted world instead of one of the others, because those places are.
Russell Crowe as Jor-El, and all of his dialogue and everything he's trying to impart to Kal-El in the movie is one of the stronger parts of the story. And it is largely because Goyer is directly drawing from the Donner film.
Yes.
Almost verbatim at some points. But it works. I mean, that part of the movie works.
And it also works because this movie really doesn't take too much time to deliver character to character scenes. It is primarily about, like, Zod's going to show up and shout, and Michael Shannon is chilling. I mean, great choice for Zod. Yes. Unbelievable.
Absolutely.
But this is one of those things where, and you can almost see, I'm just picturing Snyder in his director's chair and his leg is jogging. Like he's going,
yeah.
Because he's like, yeah. Can we get to the, God, you're going to hit so many things, man. Yeah. It's going to be awesome. And all of his stuff has little quiet moments. I mean, I watched that Rebel Moon, at least part one of it, and every time, but there's some real awkward, terribly written dialogue there too.
Yeah.
He's not, I don't think he is a character director. He's an action director, but he does have a very good visual eye. That trailer, remember the trailer for this? And it was all the stuff with like the swing and young Clark with the towel and all that stuff and all. I mean, and then cutting to Cavill. It's awesome, and the shots all the way through the movie. I'm like, beautiful. Mm-hmm. Too much lens flare, but still beautiful. There's so much gorgeousness in this, and then you go, but he really just wants to get to. Oh man, he's gonna fuck some shit up.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yes, I do like this. You've got two very good actors allowed to be, in a scene where they talk and emote at each other.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
And we get the big exposition dump about Krypton's history here, about their exploratory origins and how they, for some undisclosed reason, abandoned their explorations to go. Let's just stay on Krypton and stop having natural births because natural births they kind of suck, right? And then, he says, by the way, here's your suit. And Clark just kind of look at it like, what? Kind of has this reaction like,
I have
really?
to wear like a whole like outfit. I can't just fly around. Okay.
So then it cuts.
Oh, is this the training montage?
Yeah,
He's
where he learns how to fly. And that is great. That is probably one of the best. I think the best scene in the movie is where he learns to fly.
I love it.
Yeah.
I do. And I think I'm harsh on Goyer. I've never I mean, I know it's not just jealousy, because for a while Goyer was just like, he's your dude for comics. That is not what a writer should be. It should be like, you're the right guy for this character. But anyway, he does do a couple of good lines, and it is highly, as you pointed out, it is cribbed from Donner. But the whole speech about, it's sort of like they can be a good people, but they need someone to inspire them, that kind of thing. And he does do, someday they will join you in the sun. That's beautiful. I mean, I gotta say that's ideal, especially, and Snyder's sitting there going, yeah, because he's gonna walk out, he's gonna look up at the sun, he's gonna be absorbing all that. Oh, yeah. I am being very unfair to Snyder, imagining him just sitting there going like, this rocks. But that's what I assume he's like on set. And he does capture some beautiful images here. So this sequence does work. And he goes out there, and the learning to fly thing. I do think that the cape, we talked about this when we talked about the costumes, is crazy long. It's literally sweeping the ground behind them. Yeah. And Cavill just plays it exactly right. It's wonder. Is this working? And then it's like, oh, this is great. I can push it even farther. But and then he totally Ralph Hinckley's into the ground.
Yeah, exactly. It's great because this is something that, for all the stuff it's cribbing from the Donner movie, this is something the Donner movie totally skipped over because it didn't need to show. And the movie was so jam-packed narratively.
We did not get a training montage.
But we get this, him learning flying for the very first time. And I love the shot where he's like first going up. He's like, you can see he's like trying to will himself forward. And and if anybody's dreamt about flying and how, for me, when I'm flying in my dreams, it's really difficult to get up to a decent speed. I'm always like, come on, let's cut it. What it felt like when I was watching that.
All I can say, and this is disappointing, mainly because Superman is my dude. I have never had a flying dream.
Really?
I know that's almost universal, and I love superheroes and I love Superman, but no, that is not something. It appeals to me like in my waking hours, like how cool would it be? It's like, yeah, I'll just zip over there. But my subconscious never takes me there.
That's interesting.
That's okay. But anyway, it is great. And yes, there's little things where I wish so much thought and care had gone into everything else. But like the whole thing of when he's finally got it and he's like, I'm gearing up to do it. That thing of his fist against the ground, like he's in starting position. And then you see it literally, the power affecting the ground around him, like building up. That's awesome. What a great way to sell it.
It's great. Yeah, it really is great.
And then he launches. I think that it is Snyder's view. He's very into not what the character is, who he is. I think he's into what the character can do. And that is an appeal for superhero fans. It's like the powers are a deal. So I think Snyder's most excited by showing all that stuff. Plus, I think there was conscious thought of this is something that they wanted to be able to do back in the 70s and so forth. This movie was finally like, Superman should be fighting. So, I mean, Superman 2, the Kryptonian villain fight scene, for its time, and it's extremely dated, I'm still excited to see it because most Superman movies, including Superman Returns, that's a big complaint, is that he uses his powers. It's awesome, but it's saving people. It's lifting things. That's not bad. But he is also an action hero. So pitting him against, and it's not just 3 this time. It's technically an army, though we really only see him go up against 3 of the Kryptonian army. Yeah. And so it becomes a punch fest, and I think to its detriment, it becomes too much of a punch fest. Where you're like going, God damn it, can we just move all the story along? And I'm sure there are people who love this as the best Superman movie because so much time is spent with him just going bang, 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 bang. Anyway, but yes, the flying, gorgeous. He's got the suit. Don't like it.
My suit, son.
I mean, again, the muted colors, and that's across the whole thing. He does, like I said, capture some beautiful shots, and he's color grading different sections, and he's trying to go for feels, but he's avoiding color at all costs. Krypton is all burnished brass, steel looking stuff, and armored suits, and you're like, where is the color on Krypton? There's one shot, like I said, that vista where you have like the red sun kind of setting, and you're like, oh, that's a cool looking alien world for half a second. Now we're back to here's cold metal and things, and then you get to a real world looking place that's pretty desaturated.
I will say that shot you're referring to in Krypton, it doesn't really look very red. The sun just kind of looks like a normal sun.
Well, it does. It's true.
Weird.
It's not what you'd kind of expect. I mean, look, I'm not expecting Silver Age. I'm not expecting, like crystalline mountains and the fire falls. They have literally, instead of waterfalls, they have fire falls. I'm like, I love that stuff. It's crazy, but we're probably never going to get a Silver Age, not even with our friend Jimmy. Again, he called. I said we couldn't work him in this week, so we'll figure that out. But anyway, so now he's got the suit, and again, he's not calling himself Superman. Lois doesn't call him Superman for a long time. They're really, for most of the movie, they're going, the alien's here. Oh, that's good. That's making me feel good as a fan.
It happens off screen. It
Yeah,
happens off screen. One of the army guys, oh, Superman. That's what they're calling him now.
that's what they're calling him now.
So, okay.
Great.
Sir? The name is...
Anyway, well handled movie. So what happens now?
He's back home on the farm.
Yeah.
He says, Mom, I found out who I am. And
I love that. And the dog runs after him. Who is that? Oh, it's your old pal.
So while this is happening, we're intercutting back to the army, and they've picked up on the fact that this alien ship is hanging out in the orbit. And they're like, what the hell is this thing doing?
Yeah.
And then the whole world receives this transmission from Zod. You are not alone.
He's wearing his helmet thing, and it's so staticky and whatever that it looks like scary death head kind of thing. And he's able to broadcast in every language
Multiple
around
languages,
the world.
Yeah.
And he's basically, hey man, we're awesome space people, and you have one of our people that we need to get back, and he's been living amongst you, and you have not known what he was. Look, we're going to destroy your planet, or you turn over Kal-El to us. And yeah, that's hard. That's a hardcore thing. People are freaking. And and again, maybe there's 2 minutes or less of Perry White and people going, we need to get on top of this story. And Lois, I guess you were right all along about all your crazy conspiracy stuff. And she's like, I know that he's the alien guy, the hot one that burned me.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and Perry's trying to talk her into revealing. Look, the whole world's on the.
Yes.
You've got to give his identity up, and she's like, no,
yeah,
I don't.
I wouldn't do that.
And then of course the FBI shows up and drags her off because they know that she had written about him.
He's actually, Perry is on the side of cool because he does say, "Get out of here now," because the FBI is coming, and so he's trying to get her out. But yeah, she does get caught. Then is this the scene with him and the preacher?
Yeah. Yeah. After he witnesses the broadcast at the Kent farm. And the next time we see him, he's going into this church.
This is a little, it's not directly cribbed, but technically in a lot of Superman comics, Superman and the question of faith or seeking out counsel, it doesn't come up very often. But this is directly kind of referencing For Tomorrow. Superman For Tomorrow was another miniseries that was written by Brian Azzarello, who I think is an amazing comics writer, but that was a not good Superman story. There's a running thing all the way through the story of Superman and his friendship with like a priest, and he just goes and talks to him about spiritual matters. This felt like that. I don't mind this scene, but it's not very well written because it's like, should I do it? I'm the one they're looking for. He's like, what does your gut tell you?
Yeah. And the guy who plays the preacher is really good. You can see it, the realization flashing across his face, like, oh crap, this actually is the dude.
Yeah, this is big stuff.
And he believes him right off the bat.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the problem with it really, it's not so much the dialogue. It's the fact, in my mind, of where narratively it's the movie wants us to believe is happening, that there's some kind of internal conflict where he's like, I'm not really sure if I want to save people. It's like, you've never had a doubt in your mind. The only time you didn't save somebody is when your dad was, in the tornado. That's it.
You're the type of guy who'd save a squirrel from a kaiju.
That's right. So it just seems a little forced. And I understand what they're doing here. They really drill it home, because right behind him, you see the,
it is
the Jesus image.
It's obnoxiously blatant because it's him having his crisis of faith. It's
the Garden of Gethsemane.
Exactly.
The day
so
before the
that's
crucifixion.
the thing behind him. It's like, please take this cup from me. Like, we know what you're doing, Goyer and Snyder, and it's so obnoxious. There's subtler ways of doing this.
The Garden of Gethsemane, that's the scene that Passion of the Christ opens with. And he's basically having his can we not discussion with God. Like, can we not do this?
Exactly.
So that's essentially what this scene is supposed to be, but it's really not earned at all.
But yes, that is what they're trying to go for, Superman's moment of doubt. And then it's like, well, you'll do what's right.
And the priest calls after him and says, hey, wait, sometimes you have to take a leap of faith.
Yeah.
And the trust part comes later.
Yeah.
I do like that line. But
it's not bad.
It would be nice if there was more of a through line through the rest of the movie.
It would also be nice if Superman didn't need that, because he already feels this way. But I don't mind a humanizing of Superman at all, just as long as they don't make him stupid. Anyway, so
I can't remember when this flashback happens, but it might be during this part. The flashback to when Clark is being bullied. By these jocks, and they turn around and realize that they're his dad standing right there. They go, "Oh, okay, let's leave."
And Pete's the one that stays behind to give him a hand up.
And it's actually a very well directed little scene where he offers his hand, and you see. And we were complaining about Pete Ross not having enough dialogue in this movie. In this scene, he didn't need to have any dialogue. It's all in the actor's face. He looks at him and says, I've got your back, man. I don't care what these guys are doing.
He also, it's gratitude, though you don't know how long it's been since the bus thing. But again, it's sort of like, I'm acknowledging that you saved me, and I'm trying to step in for you. That's good.
And this is where Paul Kent has one of his better lessons for Clark, young Clark. It's like, you don't need to hit people just to make a point. That's not, you can do better than that. So that was like
better than that, Clark.
There's at least one scene where I agree with Paul Kent in this movie.
You can snap their necks.
Right. Snapping their necks is okay.
I got, we're not.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Oh man. Just taking this movie apart is tough.
It is.
So then he turns himself in. Then he allows himself to be handcuffed and walked into a facility. And don't you know that the FBI and the military are like, let's go ahead and let the reporter talk to him. Oh, the reporter that we nabbed? Yeah. So this is where we get... This is, again, a poor substitute for the rooftop interview scene. And it's really not that very long. This is basically like, oh, so you turned yourself in. He goes, yeah, well, it's like a gesture. And of course I can pop these anytime, because I'm cool. And then the whole thing of like, so what's with the S? And he's like, it's not an S where I come from. This stands for hope. And she goes, well, here it stands for an S.
Yeah. My only complaint with this scene is what we were saying earlier, is that it doesn't really establish the chemistry that the movie thinks that it is establishing, and it just isn't.
The longest talk they've had so far.
It's the first time we do see him putting on the Superman persona in the scene for the first time.
Yeah.
And it's he does it very well, of course, because it's Henry Campbell.
I forgot that was his middle name. Thank you for getting
But there are some great moments in it. Like the thing, it's not an essay. I don't mind that at all. I think that's fine.
No, if you're going to lift from the comics, that's a pretty cool concept from the comics. Go ahead, lift.
Well, it originated by Donner. That was the Crest of L thing came from the Donner film.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to Marlon Brando.
But it's standing for hope. That wasn't.
It's that was just a new thing.
I think that is from Birthright. So that's Mark Waid.
But then he turns and he actually starts talking to the army guys through the two-way mirror. And I love that part. And he's like, no, I can actually see you. And they're like, oh, I can see your half-eaten wintergreen lifesavers in your pocket. And for Emil Hamilton. And this is just a brief side note about Emil Hamilton. We'll talk more about him later, because he does play a crucial role in the story later.
He does, and dies.
And he sacrifices himself, which is great. It's not great.
No, it's not great if you were going to go forward.
This movie actually gave us a cool version of Emil Hamilton. It's kind of sucks that they did kill him so quickly, but he does die a hero's death.
Again,
and it's like, that's the character I know from the comics.
Yes, and that I like a lot. Just because it's very cool that they're paying any attention. That feels good. And you have such a good actor. I love Richard Schiff, that guy.
Yeah.
The only problem is, underserved. All these people, all these good actors are not served well by this movie. And you sit there going, take that cast. And again, I would replace Amy. Sorry, Amy. I feel terrible, but you're just not a Lois for me. You're a good actor, but you're not right for her. But take that entire cast, put it in a better Superman movie. I'm with you. I'm there all day long.
I wish, and James Gunn still has room to do this because we haven't seen Emil Hamilton in the DCU yet. If we do at all, I hope we do. But we haven't gotten this in the movies yet. What was in the original post-crisis Superman stuff, where Emil Hamilton was helping Superman understand how his powers work. And those scenes were so great in the comics.
Yes, they were great. But I also, I like that concept, but I also like the fact that that's another connecting point between Superman and the rest of the DCU is Star Labs. The thing, I like you don't have to have them running into each other all the time, all the superheroes, but the fact that whether you're in Gotham or Central City or Coast City, there's a Star Labs around. And, Emil Hamilton is just Superman's go-to science guy. I also like the fact that Superman, he has alien technology, but he still leans on Earth scientists, for help. And that's awesome. I like him having a cop guy. You want your Henderson, Inspector Henderson. Yeah, I like him having a science guy. That's Emil Hamilton. I love that stuff.
It's great fun. The other thing about the original version of Emil Hamilton from the comics, not what they did with him later in the 90s. Emil Hamilton's caught. He was kind of a desperate man who was driven to do bad things. Yes. Superman sees the good in him and believes in him despite all this other stuff.
You know what? You know what that sounds like? That sounds like Superman.
Sounds like Superman.
Sounds like something he would do.
That's one of the things that's really great about Emil Hamilton's character is that it is about Superman's character as well. It gets to the heart of who's.
Well, here they need him to push a thing into a thing and save.
And again, it's the little dingus. Push it in all the way.
Dingus. Push the dingus. That's what saves us all in the end. Yes, the scene isn't bad, but again, an antiseptic sort of like blank white military interrogation room is not necessarily where I want Superman and Lois having their cute talk.
It's not very romantic. Everybody's watching them behind a mirror. Yeah, it's like
I do think it's a great look on Superman, and James Gunn did it too, where it's like, look, you guys can't contain me because I'm Superman, but I'm going along with it because I'm a law-abiding citizen. And he just like snaps those cuffs with no problem. He's like going, I guess I won't need these anymore. So then they take Superman out to like the desert because that's, I guess, the pre-approved drop-off point. And he walks off to meet Zod. Actually, at first it's Farah or whatever her name is. Feora.
Who was from the comics. Somebody reminded me in a comment recently.
She is, but
she existed in the comics before.
Oh, she did before 78. Okay. Interesting. But anyway, so she comes out and she's like, you guys all suck. We're awesome. Look at my scary helmet. So then Superman gets on the ship and they go away, and that's the credits start rolling. And I'm like, what?
They take Lois too.
Yeah, it's them playing like, okay, all right, we're going to take that Earth girl who somehow what are they sensing? Because again, these guys don't have that vibe. It's like,
everybody
she's
wants
important to him.
I mean, it's important. The story does do things with her up in the ship later, but it's not really clear why the Kryptonians need her there.
I mean, I guess it's a bargaining chip. Like, this is a hostage, and so if you don't work with us.
But this is a little bit of a Empire Strikes Back thing, really. This was not part of our original deal.
Yeah.
You asked for the alien.
Perhaps you think you're being treated unfairly.
It's odd sort of said, I'm altering the deal.
Yes.
I do not alter it any further.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's going on.
This deal is getting worse all the time.
I like when people filmmakers can't resist doing this. They'll throw in little sly references to Star Wars all the time because everybody's life was changed by that.
Everybody.
Movie.
They take Cal in the ship, and Zod is, again, Michael Shannon is just chilling. Just great.
He's great.
Zod tries for about 2 minutes. What I do like about Michael Shannon's performance as Zod, he is enough of a kind of statesman, or at least leader type, that he doesn't immediately froth at the mouth like, and I will destroy everything. There's a little bit of him trying to sweet talk. Not a lot, but like going, wow, Jor-El's son. Pretty great. You know, we were real good friends, me and your dad. Then you killed him. Yeah, and I'm real sorry about that. Real sorry. But
Yeah.
it is cool where he's trying to like go, maybe I can convince him that he's better off with us and we can, you know, conquer universes together. But he's also after the Codex. That's the big thing.
Yeah. This is the scene where we learn firsthand how much part the atmosphere of Earth plays in activating their powers. Because Superman gets on the ship and as soon as he starts breathing the air, he's like, oh crap. And it's not until Jor-El reverses the atmospheric conditions that his powers come back.
Which is an interesting, unnecessary thing.
As if somebody's holding kryptonite to him.
Yeah, kryptonite is nowhere in this film.
No.
Not even hinted at. But yes, here it's just the atmosphere affects them. And they're like, you grew up here on Earth, so you're used to this.
Not only does it weaken him, it apparently completely nullifies his powers altogether, which is interesting.
He's pretty dang weak here, yeah.
Yeah, because they have him tied up and he's hallucinating. And they have this conversation in this dream sequence set on the farmland in Superman's imagination.
Oh my God.
He sinks into the sea of skulls. You know?
This is so over the fucking top, man. And it's so Snyder. Because again, in Justice League, where he does that supposed jump forward into the post-apocalyptic, and for some reason Batman is fully in his Batman outfit but has like stuff on top, so it's like, oh, tough Batman, and I'm hanging out with the Joker. Same thing where it's like, look at all the skeletons and skulls. I just think that Snyder saw Terminator, the original, as a kid, and he's like going, yeah, man. Yeah, cyborgs crunching on bones. Yeah, they're stomping on skulls. Oh, it's so awesome. I think Zack Snyder, if you actually were in his brain and looked out through his eyes, the world would look like an album cover. And it's those badass metal album covers where it is like a rain of blood and someone in the shadows standing on a mountain of skulls. And he's like, that is my favorite thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is way overdone. But do I like Zod and him having a conversation kind of in a representation of Kansas or the farm? And yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. But then it just has to go even farther of him going, no, I'm drowning in a sea of skulls.
Yeah. Is it when they're on the ship flying up? Is that when Superman slips her the device, right?
Yes.
The thumb. Is that when that happens?
But here's the thing. Talk about what, there's no message. He gives it to her. How the hell is she supposed to know what it is, what it does, why he gave it to her? And she does figure it out, which, I mean, yeah, I like a smart Lois, but that's literally like a telepathic leap because you have no idea. It's like, maybe he knows he's dying and he gave me a keepsake. You know, I mean, whatever. But no, there's no, like, when they have their back turned, put the dingus in the thingus. But she does figure it out and she pops it in. And then, you know, Jor-El's like, I'm his dad. Let me do some stuff here for you. This will be cool.
I like, and that sequence is fun, I think, where he's guiding her through the ship. And it's fun.
Yeah, I like a Jor-El talking to Lois scene. That's something that we hadn't had before. So the Kryptonians are now the ones going like, and Superman breaks free.
Oh, yeah, they're trying to extract the Codex from his. Do they know? They don't know the Codex is in his body yet because they go down to the the farm looking for his ship.
Yeah, they are looking for the skull thing
while this is going on. Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, again, this movie just didn't care about like where we go from this story, because everyone in the world will know Clark Kent is Superman. There's just no way that this story, as it's shown, leaves us with any doubt, because a small town in Kansas becomes a focal point of an intergalactic battle between superpowered beings. And the ship was seen to set down at a local farm specifically. Duh. Yeah. Duh. Like everybody in the world's going to go, oh no, Clark Kent from Smallville. Yeah, he's Kal-El, the one they were looking for. Unless, again, Superman went around kissing everybody in the world to make them forget.
Well, like I was saying earlier, this is really where the movie starts going off the rails.
Oh, yeah.
And there's very little. Well, there's some parts after this I still think are good. But this story just seems like, who cares?
So,
let's just get
effects
this.
wise, there's some amazing stuff in here.
Yeah.
Including the Fleischer tribute where Superman is fighting back against an energy beam, and
the
you're
entire
like,
sequence where he's battling the World Engine is great. It's
it's great,
Superman moment.
but that pissed me off again because he's basically like, hey, humans, my friends in the military, take care of the one that's over the populated center. I'm going to go fight the one that's over the Indian Ocean. Like,
Okay.
oh, wait, that doesn't, no, that's
Right.
horrible.
Anyway, whatever. So yeah, Jor-El helps him escape the ship. Meanwhile, and Jor-El puts Lois in this escape pod.
Yes. Right.
And which isn't going to make it all the way to the planet. So part of the plan is that Superman has to go in. But he says, hey, look, you see her ship like going to the atmosphere. You can save her. You can save all of them. And Clark goes, you mean like this?
Yeah.
It floats off in the crucifix pose.
Yep.
We already seen him against a backdrop of Jesus in a church.
No, there's never enough. There's never enough. At the end of the movie, when Zod pounds that crown of thorns onto his head, you're like, what?
And to be fair, Bryan Singer did the exact same pose.
Yeah, he did.
In Superman Returns. Against like the very next movie, a reboot, and they do it again. So while this is going on, the Kryptonians have landed on the Smallville farm. They're threatening Ma Kent to tell him where the ship is. I didn't catch this before I rewatched it, but I think it's Feora lifts her up, or one of the Kryptonians lifts Ma Kent up and says, where's the ship? And without saying anything, Ma Kent just looks at the barn. Yeah. Which I was like, what is that? That reminds me of something. Oh, wait a minute. It's the first movie where Superman lifts up Luthor and says, where's the detonator?
And he does I'll meld this barn into your prison bars.
It's a direct quote of that scene, but it's totally different situation.
Yeah, it's reversed. And
so it's a nice little homage to the first movie, I thought.
So yeah, they're still looking for the physical codex. They're still not aware it is within his DNA.
So they quickly realize it's not in the ship. This is when Superman flies in immediately and pushes Zod all the way into Smallville, and this is where things get really sloppy.
What?
This is one of the things where people always defend this thing that he does, trying to frighten my mother. He's like pushing him through the cornfields, coming in and swooping in and beating the hell out of him. Obviously, I understand why he's doing that. But he blindly pushes them all the way. And this is in the middle of farmland. There's like unpopulated areas all around him. He pushes them into the only densely populated area within miles of them.
And then continues the fight there instead of realizing, oops, and then let's go find somewhere else.
Never once goes, oh, I made a mistake. There's never any semblance of realization.
All he does is literally walk by one of the buildings and go, you guys should get inside.
It's not safe here.
Yeah. And you're like, hey, here's an idea, super flying man. How about you take them somewhere else?
The army shows up and it turns into this whole big thing. I will say this is one of the only times we see Superman saving people in the beginning of the movie, but when he finally becomes Superman, we see him save, I think, exactly 3 people. In Smallville, there's the guy who falls from the helicopter.
Yep.
He saves the general guy from getting shanked by Feora.
Yep.
And then we see him in Metropolis, a much bigger place, many more people dying all around him. He saves one person, Lois.
Listen, we're not there yet. That I have so much rage.
There is one moment where this is one of the things I said early on in our breakdown, where I said that there are things in the script that Zack Snyder just decided weren't important to highlight. When Superman saves the guy falling from the helicopter during this battle, he goes, oh crap. He does look genuinely concerned. He goes and saves and puts him down. And then he looks at him and says, are you okay?
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, I didn't remember that, because that's something I wouldn't have thought that Zack Snyder would even want to do.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. That's the only time he does it. And you don't need to see Superman doing that every time he saves somebody.
No,
the problem
of course not.
He literally only saves 2 more people after this in the whole movie.
In Guns, he saves a lot more people, including children. And yeah, of course, that's an easy feel-good thing. But he also doesn't dwell on that too much with that one woman. Like the kids, he doesn't go like, make sure you're okay. No, he saves them. We don't see what happens after. But there's one, James Gunn just picked a moment, and that was the woman having the panic attack where he's like going, just breathe. Yeah. Everything's going to be all right.
The problem is that I think that in the script, I haven't read the original script, but I think Goyer did have
more of that.
Well, maybe. I don't know if it was more of that, but the story is not trying to tell us that Superman doesn't care about saving people. The problem is the director. The director did not care
Yes.
To Zack Snyder, Superman saving people is boring.
Yes. Because for him, it's about showcasing power.
Yeah.
Not just superpowers, but just power. And the people that are around are just unfortunately collateral. If he's trying to make a statement, by the way, about the military, it's not any different than what we're seeing Superman do, because in that Smallville fight, literally those Black Hawk helicopters, because they're like, those are superpowered people, take them down however you can. And you don't hear a single pilot go, but there's people in the street. They literally just start firing. They start firing rockets and guns on the Kryptonian villains right down Main Street, Smallville, while people are rushing into the IHOP and the Sears and the 7-Eleven. By the way, everybody, at the end of this movie, I was so in the mood for some 7-Eleven Slurpees and a stack of pancakes. And I was like, where can I get some Black & Decker tools? Oh, at Sears. That was some really good product placement. But anyway, so yeah, I find that all of that, what you're bringing up, offensive. I actually find it offensive. It's not, it goes past, they're not treating Superman right. It's just, that is a clear ignorance of what a superhero would be doing.
Yeah.
Which is protect and move the fight away. I mean, why aren't they fighting in the Grand Canyon? They could be there in 3 seconds, and they're fighting in the Grand Canyon where there's no one around.
At least show maybe a little bit of concern for what's happening around you. Of course, this becomes a much bigger problem in the Metropolis scene later.
Much bigger problem there.
But, it's like,
they're giving us a hint. I think he's trying to get us used to it. Like, oh, don't worry about the populace. Yeah, no, they're but it doesn't matter.
So backing up a little bit to the beginning of the scene, one of the things that people always say, and all the many arguments I've had with Snyder Bros in the comments over these past 3 years.
You are a veteran of the Snyder Bro Wars.
The defense I always hear, even John Campea said this, and he's not really a Snyder Bro. He just loves this movie. He's that like, well, this is Superman before he becomes Superman. He's learning how to be Superman in this movie. That would be a nice idea if that was actually the arc this character's on in this film. It is not. He does not at any point in this movie go, oops, I've been very careless. I should be more careful. That is not an arc for this character in this movie. You can imagine it if you want to use your imagination and pretend that that's the arc, but it's not in the story.
It's not shown.
It's only because Zack thought this was boring. He thought Superman saving people was boring to him.
Yeah.
He thought Superman was broken and he needed to be fixed. And the way he was going to fix him is to have him not save, maybe only save 3 people in a Superman movie.
Yeah.
Well, when he's Superman.
What will fix the character is punching.
Yeah.
Burning.
So all you people who want to know why we dislike this movie, this gets to the very heart of it. And it all starts in this scene, unfortunately.
But I mean, the thing is that it's similar to talking to anyone that's kind of a mob or cultish mentality. I state similar things, and I will use for reference the 80 plus years of Superman comics, Chris Reeves' performance, and all kinds of things. Like, this is what has informed our knowledge of who Superman is. So if you're going to radically change his character in important moments in your Superman movie, you better have good foundation structurally to show us why he's that way. If it's just, no, this is my take, then I will sit there and say, your take is incorrect. At least according to me, and I would say a huge chunk of the fandom. But I don't think Snyder's worried about the fandom. He is literally doing his Superman, which he was allowed to do and given a huge budget to do. But the fact that it wasn't a huge success, I think it did well. I mean, I can't say it was a flop. It wasn't. But yeah, just not my guy. Not my guy.
Seeing that scene where he saves the guy falling from the helicopter and he goes, "Are you okay?" That's where I realized, oh, it really is. It's so in the direction. It's so much of the problems of this movie is in the direction. It's not so much the script.
He's not our protector in this movie. They say he is, and again, Jor-El is giving him this inspiring speech about inspiring humanity, but there's nothing inspiring about a guy who basically is just, I'm going to beat the villains and not worry about destruction of property or people's lives.
Yeah. No. So anyway, it's in this scene during this battle that Zod's mask gets damaged, and he pulls it off, thinking this thing's buggy. I'm going to just pull it off.
Yeah.
And that's when all of a sudden all of his sense powers, super sense powers, start activating, and he's overwhelmed.
And Clark gets a little braggy where he's like going, yeah, you're just getting used to that. But here's the thing. I've lived here. And he goes, it's kind of crazy, isn't it? You can't focus, can you? Yeah. Sucks to be you. That's actual dialogue. Again, sucks to be you. And then he punches him into Pete Ross, who vanishes in a pink cloud of blood and guts.
Yeah. And there was, we see Pete Ross as a manager of the IHOP.
Yes,
look at Superman for a minute and go, wait a minute, is that Clark?
For just a second, Superman is in Pete Ross's line of sight, and they have a look at each other, and Pete's like, is that? And Clark's like, I gotta get at it. All right, so this is Superman action stuff. Again, some of this is choreographed great, and the effects are amazing for the most part.
So anyway, so the battle wraps up. Superman gets knocked into, I forget why.
He gets knocked into tomorrow.
Superman saves the general from getting shanked by Fiora. Yes. Superman gets knocked into another store. Is it the hardware store? I can't remember.
I think Sears.
It's kind of reminiscent of Superman 2, where he gets shoved by the bus and is taken out of commission briefly.
Why do they leave?
Fiora gets hit by a missile and knocked unconscious, and so they have to take her up. I think that's why.
Sure.
The other dude takes her back from the ship and they leave.
I have located the codex.
That's when they figure out that it must be in Kal-El's blood. Zod asked his scientist guys, like, does he need to be alive for us to extract the codex? And he goes, no. All right, let's go do this. And so then the military guys go to see what's up with Superman, and Superman's obviously is okay. He's just a little beat up, a little knocked out. And that's when the general says,
oh yeah, this man is not our enemy.
Because he saved two of us. Because he saved me.
Yeah, literally, it's just sort of like,
that's supposed to be the big turning point in the movie where, like, oh, he's an alien and we don't trust him, but now we can trust him now because he saved us.
What's weird is there are a lot of odd choices in the movie, but making one of our main military guys literally be Stabler from that's pretty amazing.
Well, this is one of the things in the story that I just never thought that the script brought home, where the whole reason why Jonathan Kent sacrificed himself to the tornado was because he thought the world wasn't just about protecting Clark from the government. It was about the world wasn't ready. You realize what's going to happen when the world realizes aliens are here. Yeah. And that never pays off. We find aliens. His hand is forced by the fact that Zod shows up.
That's exactly right. He doesn't actually choose the time being right. Instead,
it's not a choice.
For the Kryptonian villains, like I was saying, the guy would still be on fishing boats.
So I don't really understand what the whole point of.
I don't understand the thinking behind, other than let's shake it up, man. And this is Pa Kent's message. Sucks.
It's one of those things where just, especially people who are familiar with the character, like we are, we can't avoid that. It's like the whole idea of accepting Superman. It's part of the scene. It's actually that what happens in the scene is like, oh, he's here to help us. Okay. That's all that needed to happen. And the problem is the script jumps over that when he gets the suit, and then we don't see him saving him. The first thing that he has to take care of is this situation. So if they had been introduced to him as somebody who was going around saving people in the suit, then it would have been the same conclusion. This man is not our enemy.
Well,
he's here to help us.
Also, alien life announces itself by Zod doing the worldwide message. And are people freaked? Yeah, mainly because an alien that talks our language is threatening to blow up the planet.
Right.
That's our first, but no one is, running in the streets free. At least they're not showing that. So essentially it's the world goes, what? And then just deals with it. So in other words, if Clark had saved his dad from the tornado years before and people saw it, because again, there's a point to be made that they didn't have to see it at all.
He could have been fast enough.
In the middle of something like a tornado, it's like people.
Right. There's so many different ways. Like have him run out the other side of the bridge, run around, take him out, and go him. Taking safety somewhere else, and then come back and go. Whoo!
He said, "Wow, I got picked up and carried over here." Yeah. It's so easy. But anyway, the whole idea is that if he had done that and people had seen it at the age of 16, people go, "Oh my God," and they might not have even jumped to alien anyway. It just when this person has powers. Or they could have actually just said, wow, in a moment of stress, he was able to do something extreme, which occasionally happens to normal humans. He didn't have to like save his dad and then go, and I'm from Krypton.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody.
Also, the other thing too, there was like maybe 10 people under a bridge in a really chaotic situation.
I know.
Nobody would have believed them.
No. Yeah,
So, anyway.
this just didn't work. Just doesn't work. And it's a dumb idea. All right, moving on.
Very dumb. This is when they decide they're going to deploy the world engine. I'm trying to remember what else happens. Oh, they have that. That's right. Lois comes back from the ship with this plan that Jor-El has given her about use Kal-El's ship to send them back in the Phantom Zone, which is cool. I like that whole idea of Jor-El being involved in the plan.
Yeah, I like that too. And the idea of turning the ship, which their version of the Phantom Zone, you do end up on a vehicle kind of thing, and then you're put into a deal.
I think it's in this part too, where Zod has the conversation with Jor-El, the Jor-El's hologram on the ship.
Yeah.
Before he deactivates him, and they're standing by the birthing chamber, and Jor-El's trying to reason with Zod. Zod listens to him for a little bit, and then eventually has the computer shut him off.
Yeah, he goes, you're not going to talk to your son ever again.
Yeah.
This was it for your AI. I'm killing you a second time because that's the kind of dick I am.
And they do, when he finally deactivates his program, and then and Jor-El's hologram disappears in this very dramatic way, which is fine. But then they do cut to Zod's face, and he looks sad for a second. He's like, crap, I wish I didn't have to do that. Yeah. And that's one of the things that made me wish we had seen more of their friendship in this movie before that. We don't really get much of it. It's just mentioned. It's told to us. It's not shown.
He is the uber villain, but similar to what they've done in the comics from time to time, they humanize Zod to some degree, where instead of him being just an insurgent, power mad guy, his reasoning, like any extremist, is I'm doing this for Krypton. My love of my people is so strong that everyone else in the universe doesn't count, and I will destroy worlds so that Krypton can live. That's the whole deal. And of course, that's an extreme way of thinking, but at the same time, it does give him a reason other than my ego, my power. Because sometimes he's portrayed as kind of like Hitler with superpowers. Mm-hmm. But every now and then they're like going, you can kind of see his point. It's not him being a nationalist. He's a speciesist, and he's saying that Kryptonians are superior to the rest of the universe.
Only certain Kryptonians, though. He wants to.
Well, in this movie, yes.
Where he's a little bit of he is racist, basically.
You get a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B in this movie.
Yeah. But I do like that. It's nice to see, a little, like you're saying, a little bit more of shades a little bit of his character here. He's not purely. He does have layers.
He does.
But we don't see enough of the layers in the movie, I think.
Well, it's not fall or winter yet, because then he'll pull out the heavy coats with like the fur collar.
Okay, so then there's this layers. I think they're on an aircraft carrier or something where Lois, they're talking about this plan with the ship. This is where there's one interesting line that's dropped in this scene where Superman says, okay, I'm going to go and take out the world engine on the other side of the planet.
On the Indian Ocean.
And Lois says, that is Kryptonian technology. Aren't you going to be weaker around it?
Yeah.
He goes, maybe, but I can't let this stop me from trying.
Right.
And it's just, they take a moment on that scene. And I wondered in that moment, did Goyer intend that to be referring back his maybe?
Maybe.
Was that supposed to be hearkening back to Jonathan Kent's maybe?
Maybe.
About not saving the kids on the bus. It's not a direct parallel for the reasons why maybe is being said.
I think you're being very generous.
I'm probably being generous, but I'm like, if that's the case, they did not do it very well.
They would have been nice. Go out of their way, because I didn't make that connection.
They could have tied that a little bit, like, that could have been a lesson that Clark took away from that. Like, I can't, is it dangerous for me to reveal my powers? Yes, but I can't let that stop me from trying. I kind of wondered was that intention in the script? Did it get buried?
I can't give it to him.
I'm not going to give it to him, but I'm just wondering.
It is still a heroic moment, even if it's not tied in. It's basically him saying what you're saying, that that could kill me. I might not be able to do it, but I have to try.
This is one of the reasons why I'm wondering. I kind of think that there may have been more in the script that Zack Snyder just bulldozed over. And this might have been one of those moments that Goyer maybe was intentionally trying to tie a through line.
I just picture him with the script and going like, don't need this.
Yeah.
Don't need this. Just with a big marker going, crap, talky talk. Now, here's my 30 minutes of straight punch him up.
It could have been a really powerful moment if it did actually, really clearly tie back to that earlier scene.
Agreed. Yeah.
But it doesn't.
No.
So he goes off to the Indian Ocean to battle the World Engine while the other World Engine lands in Metropolis. And then this is when the mass destruction starts.
Yeah.
And I do really like, I mean, up to this point, it's like, okay, Superman's not there. Right. It doesn't make a lot of sense that he went to the one that's over a non-populated area.
I think they do make a very light, maybe there's a line in there where there's a reason that the other one is more in danger of hitting the core first, or there's something like that. There's some sort of nonsense of that's the more important one to get first.
The plan is too that's where the Kryptonians are there, I think. And the plan is that they're going to shoot Kal-El's ship at the World Engine.
Yeah.
Because they've changed the engine on it to be a phantom engine.
Yes.
To activate the phantom zone. So the plan is that the Kryptonians have to be there to get sucked into this singularity they're creating. So that's part of the
I'll
plan.
take it.
So I do really, the scene where he's battling the World Engine, I think is really cool. It's very comic booky.
I mean, again, I certainly do share with Mr. Snyder when Superman does something huge and just like staggeringly godlike. It's awesome. It's not filling enough for me, though. It's like, okay, that was great, and I'm not going to deny that the effects are awesome. The design of the world engines and the way the beams are coming down, like, I mean, it's like, wow. Mm-hmm. And then, yes, him fighting his way up the beam is like, oh my God, that is a like 3D version of what, this Fleischer cartoon. And I know that has to be a knowledgeable wink. But yeah, he takes that thing out, and of course that's devastating. But meanwhile, Metropolis is getting pulverized.
It's pulverized, and we see while this is going on, we see Perry, and I forget the name of the woman, the reporter woman, and Steve Lombard, who's Stamper from House of Cards.
Yes,
a very much more serious version of Steve Lombard in this movie.
Still kind of a dick around the edges, but yes, much more serious. Not
so cartoon. The woman gets trapped in rubble, and Lombard and Perry are trying to get her out.
I think at one point he says her name is Jenny or something, but the thing is that she's never built up. She's just there to get trapped in rubble and then have Perry go, Steve, get over here and help me, get her out of this.
And they're just about to give up on her, and when the Superman finally destroys the world engine on the other side, and that stops. So this is where things are already getting exhausting.
Oh, by the way, they do keep cutting back to like when the world engines first show up and they're like, what is this? They give Emil Hamilton luckily he's like, they're terraforming. It's like, he's already figured out what they're doing. He's like, they're making it more habitable for them. Yeah. That's cool.
It's a very sort of like Independence Day kind of moment.
Yes. Unfortunately, a lot of this reminds me of Independence Day.
There's a lot borrowed from it. Yeah.
But what it reminds me of most, what we're about to hit, is the most uncomfortable section of the movie for me, including the end of Zod. But the whole thing of, yes, technology's come a long way, but, and I know Snyder wanted this to feel like this is similar to Nolan's take on Batman, where it's Batman in the real world. This is Superman in the real world. He has made the World Engine's destruction of Metropolis look so much like what we saw for 9/11. Yeah. It is extremely realistic with the skyscrapers falling, the dust clouds, all that stuff, people running and screaming, that I'm not in a Superman movie anymore. And it feels like destruction porn. And I'm like, yeah. And here's the thing. Obviously in comic book movies, especially where you've got big characters or a group of characters, you want the scale to be big. Superman having this huge of a scale feels right. However, they don't show Superman stopping it really or saving anybody, as you say. It looks like he is there, but you're just imagining the thousands of people under rubble crying for help, and he's standing there talking to Lois Lane.
Yeah, it's very, very thoughtless. This is one of Zack Snyder's biggest sins as the director of this movie.
Is he doesn't give a shit about the NPCs.
I do not think Goyer wrote into the script, Superman ignores the death. People dying around him. That wasn't the story.
It feels horrible and horrific to look at that stuff and go, wow, what's Superman doing? Well, I'll tell you what he did. He saves Lois, and then they have a little kissy moment. And I'm like, oh, read the room, guys.
I know. So we're backing up just a bit from that, because while he defeats the world engine on the other side of the world, meanwhile in Metropolis they succeed in sending the villains, all of them except for Zod, back into the Phantom Zone.
Yeah.
And then Emil Hamilton winds up having to sacrifice himself along with the general. The only one who doesn't do it, Lois falls out of the ship.
Yes. Yeah.
And then Superman shows up just in time to save her.
That little widget really was important in this story.
It was, yeah.
It was like, good Lord, it all hinged on this keychain.
the thing that just, you have to push it in twice. You can't just push it in once.
That's right. Oh.
So, yeah, anyway. So Emil Hamilton dies a hero's death. And that's cool. It's a shame that he didn't stick around. I mean, it wouldn't have mattered anyway, because the whole franchise went to hell after this movie.
Yeah.
But so Superman, yeah, so like you're saying, Superman shows up, saves Lois, lands, and kisses her. Instead of, as we know from people who lived, we weren't all there in New York, but we all lived through it by watching it on TV. We know it was all in the news of the people who were still trapped in rubble after that thing fell. It wasn't just about people who died during it.
Days later.
It was days of rescue efforts. So yeah, very, very thoughtless and very, it was a mistake.
He has super hearing. He can hear these people crying for help. Literally that's I'm glad I was able to save you, Lois. I got to go. That's the way that should have been. And we should have seen like a super speed montage of him pulling people out, saving people.
Mm-hmm. At least show him maybe aiding the rescue efforts that are already going on.
Oh, absolutely.
Should have been actively going on.
Yeah.
At that moment. But they kind of, this is another big sin that the woman that was trapped in rubble, you know, she after this he lands with Lois. And he goes, he saved us.
I know.
I'm like, what? Yeah, he saved the planet. Okay, he did not save anybody.
Yeah, I know that's what they're going for, but yeah, he saved us. It's like, hopefully you bring like a really big muffin for Perry White, because he's the guy that pulled you out of the rubble.
So, okay. So they have that moment. They have their kissy moment. Then he hears Zod off in the distance, and because Zod has landed and he's distraught because he's lost.
Yeah.
But so this is when we get the big punchy battle.
Okay. Now, did you see anywhere, because I know that's not the original ending. Do you know how it was supposed to end?
Yes, originally Zod was going to get sucked into the Phantom Zone with everybody else.
Right.
And then Goyer and Snyder decided, well, that's boring. We need to have one final battle with him, and we need to have Superman kill Zod. And so they asked DC Comics, and they said no. I'm guessing at this point that would have been Jeff Johns, who was head of DC at the time.
Yes. Or at least head of with the creative director.
He would have been at least one of the people that they consulted on this. Yeah. Also, Christopher Nolan did not like this idea. Christopher Nolan said no initially. He says, no, that's a terrible idea. And so they go, but what if we have him have no choice and it's using his heat vision, and if he doesn't kill him, then the thing.
And by the way, that's another bullshit thing. That is their like justification. Is like they're trying to present Superman with the Kobayashi Maru, like the unwinnable scenario.
Mm-hmm.
And yet Zod does not weigh more than, anything Superman has lifted so far in the movie. You can lift off. You've got him in that chokehold. You fly up with him. You get him out there. There's so many things he could have done other than snap his neck. And it was just for that moment. And it's so wrong.
We just seen in the Smallville battle, Faora gets knocked unconscious by a missile.
Yep.
If he's strong enough to break Zod's neck, he could have knocked him unconscious too.
Sure. And the whole thing
it's in the movie.
Even though they think it was boring, I thought, again, thanks to Michael Shannon's performance, the literal life going out of Zod because he has failed is very effective.
Yeah, sure. I have no purpose now, and it's your fault.
Exactly. Like, you've broken me. And at that point, throw him in the Phantom Zone, or even an Earth prison at that point. Maybe it's like, oh, we already sent off the ship. He has to be locked up here. That leads to sequels or whatever. And the idea that those two bros, Goyer and Snyder, like, that's not hardcore enough. It's like, oh, it's not hardcore enough that Superman has saved the planet and defeated the villain. no, he's got to kill him.
Mm.
That's just bullshit.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how good Henry Cavill is portraying the grief, no, it's the wrong way to go.
And it's made all the more offensive to me. This is what really bugged me when I first saw it, more than the fact that he actually was forced to kill somebody. Because they do, he does, obviously he doesn't want to do it. And it's something he's very, very scarred by, that he has to do this to anybody, let alone one of his own kind.
Yeah.
But we've already, if it was the reason why he's forced to do this, because Zod is threatening to kill this one family cowering in the corner, you could have, this whole time, while you were battling him in the city and buildings are toppling all around you, people were also dying.
Yeah.
If the only way you had, if like the story is trying to tell us, the only way you could stop this man is by killing him, you could have done it minutes ago and saved countless thousands more lives than these 4 people cowering in the corner.
Yeah.
And this is where, again, the director did not make this connect, because Zack Snyder is very, very thoughtless in storytelling. He sucks at telling stories. It was a dumb idea. The villain was like, we got to kill Zod. We got to have him kill Zod, or else this movie's not going to work. I place most of the blame for the ham-fisted way the story is told on Zack Snyder's shoulders.
I will say this. It's not that Superman has never killed in the comics. He has, just like Batman has. Most of the time, it's usually due to, I tried to stop this explosion or something, was unable to, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. In one instance, he purposefully killed. And that was, they're trying to be edgy in the 80s. There was a pocket universe that was created by the Time Trapper, who is the Legion of Superheroes villain. And this was their way post-crisis, because they're like, oh crap, we screwed up history of DC Universe because there's no Superboy post-burn. But Superboy used to hang out with the Legion of Superheroes. What are we going to do? Well, anytime the Legion of Superheroes thought they were going back to Earth's past, they were going back to Earth's past in Time Trapper's pocket universe that had a Superboy in it. Superman, our Superman, who was never Superboy, finds this out when the Legion of Superheroes goes up and says, hey, Superman, we're your old friends from childhood. He's like, I have no idea who you people are. And goes there. But the whole point of the story was that there is a very Silver Age version of the Kryptonian villains in the pocket universe. And when he goes there, they are now aware that there is a Prime universe. And they're basically, when he goes back to the pocket universe, they've already destroyed Earth there, Superboy's Earth. And they're like, we're going to come for yours now. It's like, well, now we know how to get out of this universe. We're going to follow you back to your Earth. And no one can stop us because we are 3 times more powerful than you are. And Superman acts as their executioner. When he's defeated them, he uses kryptonite. He's protecting himself, and he exposes them to kryptonite and kills them with kryptonite poisoning. And it's so traumatic for him that he ends up having a personality split. He exiles himself to space for a year. There's a lot of good stories that came out of it, but that was an unwinnable situation because they are stating their purpose will be, we're coming to your Earth to destroy it. For no other reason. We don't want to take it over. We just hate you, Superman.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I will have to kill you. Now, that's also not perfect storytelling, but it had a weight to it because, we saw the build up to it and we saw the after effects of it. But here it is just done so they can have their badass movie ending and prove that people who thought Superman was a pussy were wrong. Look what he'll do, man. He'll snap your neck. Hate that ending. Hate it.
Zack Snyder as a director just completely shot himself in the foot already. Like, that scene might have been able to work. I mean, there's still logistical problems with, like you're saying, there's so many other things he could have done to take him out.
Basically, he's got him in a chokehold, and he goes, stop it. And Zod goes, nope.
Yeah. Right.
He's like,
but for me anyway, the scene had no impact because it's like 4 people, thousands of people just died and you didn't even seem to bat an eye.
I know, but a family in an art gallery.
It just made no sense.
By the way, why was that family still in an art gallery while the world engine was like, they're like, look
Whatever
at these sculptures. They're beautiful. Nothing about the scene works. Nothing. And of course Lois is there instantly. So she sees the aftermath and
the only thing I will say, we'll say that does work, like you were saying, is the Zod's character himself being at this point of, you've destroyed everything I stand for, that but he kind of had already expressed that when he
Yeah,
before they started
again,
battling.
it didn't add to that statement. It just is
Right.
like, okay, he's so desperate, he's just going to take out a family of 4.
I will never stop killing people.
I will never stop killing people because that's me.
Yeah.
And then there's the drone, right? Is that we cut to the drone?
Oh, yeah, right.
The epilogue has Superman bringing down a government drone, and the government, I guess he drops it right in front of the Jeep with like a general guy in it, and he's like, "Hey, this is one of yours. Stop trying to find out where I hang my cape." Ooh.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's one of the only scenes where there's like maybe three or four moments of humor in the movie. This is one of them. Like that thing that was a $12 million piece of machinery. So, well, it was.
Yeah, it was. and again, it's sort of like, okay, all right. Also, but basically the whole idea of the government's now, they're back to that paranoid universe. That's what Snyder has created, is that the people that should be celebrating or they love this guy, they're still like paranoid about him and they fear him, and that's great. But basically, it's also stupid story-wise. Why are they looking for where he hangs his cape? They know he's from Kansas. They know he's from Smallville. All the evidence points there because of what with the Krypton. So that makes no sense. And then the secret identity really doesn't make sense, because then is it his mom that's like, what are you going to do now? And he's like, oh, I need a job where I can have my finger on the pulse and see what's going on. And a job where if I have to go to dangerous places, no one will even blink an eye. I mean, that's all fine. But the fact that they're shoehorning in the secret identity at the end of the movie in a voiceover, and then him literally having to remind himself to put glasses on right before he walks through the fucking door. And then there's that look between Lois and him when it's like, Perry White's like, oh, Lois, meet the newest guy on the team. This guy's name's Clark Kent. And she's like, hi. And she's like, I know who you are.
Yeah.
I totally know. And he's like, I know you know who I am. Hey.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. That's just, it's not a good movie. I'm sorry, folks. It's just not good. At least there was no credits button sequence. I was like, I couldn't remember if there was one. I was like, oh, no, there isn't.
Yeah.
I was expecting something like, Batman's glove to enter the frame and pick up a, piece of rubble and go, I'll get you for this. Superman.
We do see the satellite. We didn't really talk about this. That during that battle, they do fling each other out into space briefly, and they hit that satellite, and it's a Wayne Industries satellite.
Oh, it is? I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
But then they crash all the way back straight down into Metropolis.
Yeah.
Which reminded me of that scene, and we were making fun of in Superman Returns, where he flies up and hangs there in the atmosphere, listening to everything that's happening on the Earth, and then winds up going straight back to Metropolis again.
Like, they all need me, but that's my hometown.
Yeah.
Also, he pushes that island up, and then when he falls back, he falls into like the central park of Metropolis.
Right.
You're like, what? The Earth is turning underneath. I mean, why would he end up in the exact same place?
Yeah.
Especially if he's unconscious. Why isn't he like ending up in the middle of Atlanta or something? And people are going, "Oh, who the hell is? Oh, it's Superman."
Yeah, I guess it was. Anyway, there's so many.
Metropolis has a big Superman magnet, just pulls him right back.
That's right.
All right. So, I know that I just crapped all over it. And please don't use that as an isolated sound bite. But I know that I crapped all over it. There are little things I like in it. And generally speaking, great casting, great photography. And if you love this movie, if Man of Steel is your Superman and you thought Snyder nailed it and James Gunn is a heretic for what he's done, you're entitled. Please enjoy. And you've got 3 movies, or if you take the director's cut of Justice League, you have like 5.5 movies of Henry Cavill as Superman to enjoy, and one little bit at the end of Black Adam. Please embrace it. It's on physical media. You never have to lose it.
There's a director's cut of Batman v Superman too.
Is there?
Yeah, and I will say that is
one
one.
Also better?
Still a bad movie, but it is better than
Justice
the original.
League director's cut. I will fully say there are parts of that I really liked, and it was better than what I saw in the theater.
I will say when we do.
You just said.
I said do again. When we do cover Batman v Superman, we should watch the director's cut.
I'm definitely down for that. I like
Yeah.
seeing something that someone says is definitive. So I
Yeah.
want to see that so I can judge the definitive cut.
And I'll say right off the bat, one of the reasons why, and this is puzzling, again, it's Zack Snyder, so I guess it's not surprising, but there is a scene where that scene you probably know about, where the bomb blows up in the courtroom.
Yeah.
In Batman v Superman. In the theatrical cut, it just cuts to him leaving immediately after that. In the director's cut, you actually do see him finishing saving the people.
Oh, okay.
He saves the last survivor and then he leaves. But Zack cut that out.
I will say it's really cool. And I know enough about the movie. I know the context, but man, what I've always wanted to see was Earth's greatest mind and supervillain blow people up with a jar of piss.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We did it. It took us 2 episodes. We got through Man of Steel. Neither of us big fans. I don't know if you picked up on that.
I will say, like I said in the beginning of this, I do understand a lot more why people. I do understand why people love it. I get it. I understand why people love this movie, and I think it's a lot of it is that they're able to look past the things that really bother us. I can't. I've tried. I just can't look past these things. You've seen us trying to in this breakdown. I just can't.
One thing I've said a lot across all of our little rewatches and stuff like that is, and it's true, we certainly love the character in a similar way, mainly because I think we came up at the same time. And so we agree on what the character is. But there is a Superman for everybody, and it's subjective. Some people are fascinated with just how cool is it to be able to lift a planet, and how cool is it to fly backwards in time and stuff like that. Powers are cool. I like the guy. I like the character. I like the blue Boy Scoutness of him and that kind of sincerity. And that's a hero to me. But some people, especially younger folks, if you came up in the 90s when comics across the board, DC and Marvel, were focusing on how badass characters were, and they're, like, fuck all of this attitude, and I'm going to beat the shit out of this person. And Superman, to a slight degree, went slightly darker, and they did kill him off. He came back and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, maybe that's the Superman for you, where you're still looking for a Superman that's like take no prisoners guy. It's just, again, not the classic. And I like representations like what James Gunn did, which is let's modernize kind of the world and how they see him, but we're still keeping all the base character instincts. And now he stands out even more because he's surrounded by a world of cynical heroes, and he's still the idealist. So, yeah, if you love this movie, you're absolutely right to. And there's beautiful cinematography in it and beautiful scenes of him punching and flying and doing stuff. It's just that they don't allow a very good actor and a really good looking Superman to be the character that I wanted him to be. Plus, I hate that suit. I really do. Every time he turns to the side and you see that weird section that comes in, you're like, what the fuck are you thinking? You thought that looked better and more like cool than just red trunks? Got no time for you, man.
But that is the least of, we've said before, it's the least of the film's problems.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, no spit curl? All right. I'll deal with it.
Yeah.
Anyway, we did it, and maybe we'll take a little break before we get back into rewatches of the Snyder-verse. There's still plenty, and again, we will talk non-Superman stuff at some point, but we still want to get back to the animated series, which is just a delight, man. I mean, talk about a salve for all the terribleness of Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is my guy. So yeah, we'll probably get back into that. And you guys also, we do appreciate if you have something that we haven't covered and you want us to cover. I mean, if someone says rewatch the Raimi Spider-Man films, I'm there. Though I will shed tears when we get to Spider-Man 3 because it's not good.
No.
But anyway, I guess we wrap. Let's wrap.
Yeah.
I need the break. Oh, I'm Brendan Jones, and I'm here to say, because he said rap.
Oh.
I'm
thought you
here
were
to
gonna
break
do a whole
it
new
down
song.
in a funky, fresh way. I'm 56 years old. All right. Anyway, thank you everyone for listening to the old dudes talk, and be peaceful and sappy. Be
Yes.
peace sappy. Bye.
Peace happy. Bye, y'all.
Man, having an AI of your departed parents around to just do stuff, pretty cool. Be like, AI mom, hey Laura, could you make me a grilled cheese sandwich?